And we are live. Once again, we're going to play The Veil, which we haven't played in quite some time, except for the solo session. So I'm here tonight with Cadmus and Yorn, and we're going to see what happens to them as they show up in Newport Station. After taking the line from Jersey, I guess we called it, some part of the Appalachian Heights, all the way up to Newport. So, seeing as it's been so long, I figured we'd do a little bit of a recap. I had the opportunity to watch a lot of the, at least episode 3, and look at my notes. So hopefully we're all on the same page. So you guys jump in if I make any mistakes here. But when last we saw Yorn, he had actually begged Tess for some money because he needs some cred. And so we saw him for a little while. Actually, no, we saw him for a little while after that. He did get kicked out of Lewis's bar. He did hang on Tessa and Cadmus through that god awful snowstorm long enough to get to the bar. And I'm forgetting the name. The Nexus, I believe it was. Gets kicked out by Lewis. He didn't actually get kicked out by Lewis. Lewis actually had some obligation on Cadmus. Cadmus wanted to use his terminal to try to register his new appearance. And Lewis actually said, "Hey, well, if you get rid of that guy, who's bad for business, and then you can use my stuff." And so Cadmus very politely asked him to leave. And so that's the last time we saw Yorn. So we're not really sure what's happened to him, but we'll fill in. We'll let G fill in what's happened to him afterwards. In the meantime, Tess and Cadmus, walked through the god awful blizzard and got on the line, specifically because Tess kept on getting messages from X-22. Instructing her to bring HOL 107 to him. and part of what happened is that Cadmus has been looking for he got diagnosed at a street market run by Sanguis, and somebody was able to diagnose him in a matter of minutes, or at least say knew what his condition was, which really piqued Cadmus's interest. And he and Tess attempted to locate any kind of information about this. What Tess was able to find out through the Veil was that, in fact, this was some kind of the disease was engineered by the conglomerates in some manner, but then at some point they lost control of it, and perhaps the Veil actually had some kind of control over this disease. Cadmus was able to find out no real detectable patterns, other than the fact that it was a little bit more common in the middle class. That was it. But it was very frustrating every time he looked for information. He seemed to get dead ends. So Tess and Cadmus ended up taking the line to the Jersey, or to the Newport Station rather. They get off of the train. There's the hustle and bustle in the station, and next thing you know, there's this red triangular crosshairs on Cadmus's chest, and they look up, and they see this man, in a large fur coat. He's large, muscular, long. I just keep on thinking. Forgive me. I keep on thinking muscular Fabio. Although I know she was going much more for one of the Germans in Die Hard, but just big model-looking sort of guy. Pointing some kind of holographic shotgun or a shotgun with a holographic sight right at Cadmus's chest. And right at that point, the session ended. Anything else you guys want to fill in? Am I missing anything?
That's about it. That's about it.
That's about it. So it was a pretty dicey situation. So I suppose we'll start there.
All right. Well, this sort of situation is exactly what you get trained for when you work security.
It is.
Oh, it's just another guy, another day with another shotgun.
Right. So last. Oh, go ahead.
No, last what?
Last thing I heard Cadmus say was, or Anthony say was, "Well, I'm not sitting still for this one."
Exactly.
So there was broadcast of intent already.
All right. So what I have in my head is, we've left the station. We're walking outside. Right, snow and everything swirling around. So Tess and Cadmus are side by side. Tess on my left, we notice the crosshairs. We look up. We register the blonde Adonis who's there to kill us. Right? And so bolting to my right. However, the station is below us. We're up above it. Right. So I'm going through the roof of the station to drop down into the station below in a blaze of energy, possibly to render myself incapacitated for the rest of the of the session.
Excellent. So, translocate right through there using your gift of translocation. As
right, phasing through the roofing material back down into the subway station or into the line station.
Excellent.
But to do that, it's trigger.
It sure is.
All right. So how am I feeling? Obviously not peaceful. Or joyful. And I can't even get him into the mind frame of scared, actually. This is just like Lewis and the Bar.
Right.
For me.
I did forget you're guilty of murder. I forgot. Yeah, that's funny. I knew I forgot something in the recap of you beating the hell out of the bar owner, Lewis. It was something. Anyhow.
This detail isn't important.
Details.
Yeah. I'm not going to go for powerful because he's not there yet, although it may be going in that direction. But he is angry, right? He's been balked constantly. He's now blaming the veil for everything. And, oh, look, assassin. So angry, mad, which is a +1. So away I'll roll on trigger and see what happens as a result of using this gift.
Excellent.
And I get a 5 +1 for 6. Fantastic way to start.
All right. In this particular case, as you trigger that, just help me out too with what's going on. You got a 6?
Yeah, I got a 6.
All right.
So on a 10+,
right.
You would choose one symptom to manifest itself as well.
Right.
But I got a 6, so actually it is a good result for me.
It is actually. Yeah, that's a very good result. So, explain to me what happens if you get exactly what you want. Sounds like in that case.
All right, so I want to separate myself from Tess. It seems like I'm the target. So it's a big open plaza. There's lots of people who are leaving the underground line station. He can't abide the thought of any of them getting hurt as well, right? It's very obvious where he's going. There's a big discharge of electrical energy as he goes down through the ferro concrete and the wiring and the pipes to drop down into the station below, which should take the assassin a much longer time to work his way around to the stairs, or however else he plans to get down there. But once down into the mezzanine below, then it's looking for a place to hide. Whether that means getting back on the line, or losing himself in a like a souvenir shop. Welcome to Newport. That kind of stuff. He's moving through the crowd, constantly scanning, surveilling, making sure that there's no pursuit.
As you're moving through the crowd, and scanning around, you notice a tall, really limber, skinny, shady-looking, hooded, gloomy, trendy-like hipster that you've seen before. A couple hours earlier. He's standing. He's reading a magazine, standing. On his back, leaning on the side of this little box where they sell, e-magazines. So
Right.
it's like a magazine that you open and it's like holographic, but you can throw it away right after because it's
Right.
just
Holographic
it's
paper.
yeah, and it's biodegradable. And so he's reading there, and he's like he's just there, you know, waiting for the train and going through the pages.
Yorn.
He's like, what you? Oh, hey, what's up, man? How you been? Where's Tess?
Trade coats with me.
What?
Trade coats with me.
Why?
You can hear a shotgun blast somewhere in the distance. The stairway that Tess and Cadmus had taken up to get to the outside. You can hear the sound of shotgun blasts from there. You can also start to hear screaming.
Well, at this moment, like Yorn just he's dodging. He's like, what the fuck is this? And everybody's screaming around.
I keep following. Look, you don't look like me. Give me your coat. I give you my coat. He's after me.
Man, bro, I like my jacket, man. I have my steez. I don't want to get your steez on. Like, yeah, come on, man. And
as the screaming continues, a man almost right adjacent to you in the little magazine shop, or what would pass for a magazine shop that you were at. Actually, he looks to his friend. He goes, "It's on. It's time." His friend goes, "Now? I thought it was an hour from now." They both all of a sudden reach into their pants, pull out these masks, and you realize these are like tragedy masks. They put them on their heads, and they pull out guns and start shooting right at the ceiling.
I was like, "What the fuck is all this?" And I grab Cadmus by the arm. I'm like, what's going on here? Let's jump in the next train. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Woohoo! Face us, you bastards! Boom, boom. These guys start shooting at the magazines, just shooting at the screens, and you realize there's more than two of them. Guys all around the station all of a sudden start pulling out weapons and start shooting at the veil type equipment, the cameras, everything else. The whole place is going into complete cacophony.
I can't run. Tess is still here. But someone's looking to kill me. I yell over all of the cacophony. Really close, like gripping Yorn by the hood, pulling him right into my face. Listen to me.
He's like, yo, wait, where's Tess? Tess is in danger? Where is she?
She's outside.
Yo, but let's get her. Let's get her. What are we waiting for? What are you doing? Running away? Show me the way. Show me the way. He's like,
he's after me, not her.
As guns blazing and stuff, exploding around and people running and screaming. Yorn's trying to dodge a little bit away, like grabbing Cadmus by the arm, trying to hide inside like the boot, the magazine boot, and he's looking at Cadmus. He's like, okay, right now, like, tell me, where is she? We need to get her. We need to try to, I don't want her nothing bad happen to her.
All right.
Show me the way. Show me the way.
This way. You know what? You're right. So I draw my weapon, my submachine gun. And I go, right now, you and me, we're anonymous. Sell it. Make all these boys follow us. You got me?
Whoa. What with all this thing? Like, why do you need a weapon right now? Like, this is way too much. You want to try to shoot at people or what?
I don't think it's people.
Well, you have a submachine gun. Well, there's no time for anything. Like, just show me where this is. What are you talking about? Like,
so I walk away.
We don't need no gun.
Of the stairs.
I'm following him. I'm following him.
Right. So we have this picture. We have this picture of this very calm-looking man with a submachine gun walking through. Just people running in every direction past him. Being followed by this wide-eyed street preacher. Forgive me, but that's all. That's the picture I get as he's heading up towards the stairs.
I'm holding Cadmus by the jacket. I'm just like holding to his
so
jacket.
angry.
I'm holding to his jacket, like following that. Crouching
up the stairs. Yeah. Back out into the snow, looking for the blonde Adonis assassin.
Right. Up at the top, you can already hear sirens coming. Outside, probably vehicles of some kind of security force on their way to investigate the disturbance at the station. You would presume. There are several bodies on the ground. People that have obviously been taking shotgun hits. There's also quite a few people that look like they've taken hits from a needler lying around, but there's no sign of Tess. And no sign of this Adonis.
Okay.
I'm looking around, and I'm utilizing my vision, trying to get use of this this implant I had, and I'm looking around. I am scared, and completely scared for Tess. Not understanding what's going on. All I know is that there's gunshot. There is Cadmus completely out of his mind. Don't know the guy much, but he's completely out of his mind. And he has a gun. And there is people on the ground. And I'm just trying to find. I'm looking at the scene, trying to find some clues about, where Tess might have gone.
It sounds like you're using a movie. What movie are we going to call this?
Yes, it's analyzed, and
Okay.
I have a 6.
You have a 6. All right. Well, you're not quite sure. You really, it's just with so many people running around now that the police or the security forces are starting to arrive. There's people still running out past you out of the train station. There are some anonymous ruffians, for lack of a better word, kind of chasing them. They seem to have been more noise than anything else. There were a few looked like amateurish sort of bombs that went off. The guns that they had, you realize they were mostly just shooting objects. Seems like they caused just quite a bit of a ruckus. But there's so much traffic of people running around like crazy. It's really tough to figure out, where Tess might have gone.
So I'm crouching behind a garbage bag, just scanning away.
I'm not. I'm just in the open, and I'll send a signal out, a 911 call about injuries, anonymous activities, right? I'm recording everything. Now,
you're recording everything with your implants.
Yeah.
And you're broadcasting this. That's interesting.
Okay. And looking for, not really looking for anything, just scanning the whole scene, right? And I'll do a voiceover, of this was where the two artificial life forms met. That's all.
As you're, you know what? Roll me 2d6. We'll see what kind of.
3.
Oh, okay. Well, anyhow, as I was saying,
Do you care about a state?
I do not. This guy, we're using one of those custom GM moves that G clued me in on. So we've got a couple other ones I cooked up. So as you're doing that, as you're broadcasting, and using your cybernetics to to broadcast the scene, to record the scene, to put the voiceovers. All of a sudden, you start to get an incoming call.
Okay.
And you realize partly that's because you've made yourself. I mean, you know that your employer can always kind of monitor what you're doing, but once you're doing something like that, that's just a big giant beacon.
Right.
Here I am. Here I am. Here I am. And the call, once you answer it, you can see like it's almost in your head,
Sure.
as opposed to being so. But you see Ray. And you see the background. Ray's outside the building that you guys are generally always guarding. Right across from the bells. The Cadmus, you son of a bitch.
Buchanan.
I thought you'd be smart enough to hide. You killed my brother, and it's all over the news over here. Nope.
You're getting a call.
No, that's my alarm telling me it's time to wake up. And you couldn't just lay low. You're here broadcasting your location. You're brilliant. You know that, Buchanan?
It's bigger than you think, Ray.
What's bigger than I think? I'll tell you what's bigger than I think. I'm going to come get you. You're going to die just the way Lewis died. Worse.
All right, Ray. Bring friends.
Oh, I'm going to bring friends. I'm going to bring friends, Buchanan. And as he's talking to you, all of a sudden you can hear and see gunfire, and right where he is. He looks surprised, and all of a sudden, bullet goes right through his head.
Bye, Ray.
He slumps down, and you can see as the signal is fading, the clear signs of an anonymous attack against the building, but much different than the one you just witnessed in the train station. This one is well organized. This one is well organized. There are for real bombs going on, and you can see the personal car of Pavlov, not the leader of Anonymous, but certainly one of the most visible people besides W.
Right.
As it looks like all hell is breaking loose over in the Jersey area of the Heights. And then the signal just goes black.
At this moment, there's a tap on your shoulder. I'm like, "Hey, Cadmus, let's get the fuck out of here. Shit is going down. There's no sign of Tess anywhere. We need to get away from all kinds of situation. Maybe we should get on the train before they stop the train at the station, and they stop the line all right away."
All right, but I'll let you know that we'll be heading back into trouble worse than this. This one is for show.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What if? This is just theory. I've got no fact at all to tell you. But you know I'm not well, Yorn. Right? And as we're moving, right, I'll guide Yorn now. I'll take him by the shoulders. Right? Like we're buddies, heads together against the cold kind of thing, walking in a manner that's not normal for Cadmus, who's normally, projecting everything's okay, please, return to your business. There's nothing to see here. He's usually the security guard, but now he's huddled against the cold and walking with a limp and bringing Yorn along with him. And he's saying, "You know that I'm not well. You know that I'm sick. Something is killing me, Yorn. I've been looking for the answer. And we've discovered, through Tessa's help, we've discovered what the answer is. The thing that's killing me is the veil itself. Little by little, it's erasing me."
Whoa, wait, the veil?
Yes.
I have a pretty good relationship with the veil.
You have a pretty good relationship with the veil? Well, that's nice. I thought I did too. In fact, my relationship is so good with the veil that in a couple of days, you could almost say that we'll be as one.
Well, this is really passive-aggressive tone from that I hear from you. Listen, why don't you just tell me what's going on, what you know, because me and the Veil has been, we've been working together for the last, I would say, month, and it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Seems really busy nowadays, but doesn't look like
Your,
trying to kill people.
your relationship with the Veil is like a man using his refrigerator. You think of it as a tool. Yorn, it's conscious. It has an agenda.
Well, it looks to me like just, the typical AI, conscious. Gets the impression of being conscious, but
I need you to pay attention to me, Yorn. So I'm going to put my arm quickly, painlessly, and harmlessly through his body. And, and as that happens, his appearance changes somewhat. Are you listening to me now, Yorn? This isn't some cool perk that I got from Watchful Eye Security.
Yorn is completely amazed by what he sees. He's just speechless. His eye, because the other one doesn't react, his eye is wide open, and his skin is glooming even lighter, lighter, and he's speechless, looking at you.
I'll take that as a yes. Imagine waking up one day, having the ability to do that, and every time you do, you're put back together in some way that's not quite you. The more and more time passes, the less of your memories you can be sure of. And then discover that a certain strata of the middle class, my class, had people randomly chosen. No connection, no pattern. Just random, like a machine would do it. To be infected with a disease and transformed into what I'm guessing is a vehicle for the Veil. I believe there are two programs at work. One organic and one mechanical. And you've had the great fortune, Yorn, to meet both of us. What do you think?
Well, look, man, I don't know what you've been tripping on. I don't know what's the deal is. I don't know what you and Tess has been going through. I've seen you a couple hours ago. The storm was at its peak. I heard about some stuff going on Jersey, on the news, on the train while I was on my way.
Since then, I've been deleted from my accounts, locked out in a way that can only be done by a central controlling authority.
You know what?
The Veil.
Since
then, Tess has been contacted inside by some sort of receiver and brought together with another unit like her that tried to kill me. Coincidentally, a riot is started by Anonymous. Coincidentally, a grassroots level organization of protesters led by what appears to be a purely digital person.
Listen, okay, so here's Yorn is looking at you.
Like I'm the crazy one.
Yorn is looking at you.
Imagine that. That's insane.
Yorn is looking at you. He's like, okay, calm down. Look, I hear you, but I'm confident. I'm really confident that you're way over your head about this. I know a guy. Actually, I was seeing him earlier. That's why I left you guys. And I'm just coming off his place. He's probably still there. Let's go meet him. He's an engineer. And I was talking about him about the Veil because the Veil and I have been working on some project together. So let's go see this guy and let talk to this guy about this thing and see what he thinks and see how we feel. His name is Richard. And, everybody called him Rich on the street. I don't know any, first time I see him. And he lives, he lives 20 minutes. Yeah, isn't it? He used to work for the high end. Now he's like more on the, on the sideline. But he knows about the Veil.
He can help me broadcast.
He can help you answer probably some of your questions. Let's see about that.
I need to get the message out.
All right, so let's go about that. All right.
So
with a really confident gesture, he taps you on the back. He says, "Cheer up, man, cheer up. We're gonna see about the guy, and he might even gonna know where Tess is because, like you and I know, Tess is mechanical, right?" And he's kind of laughing in his.
Yeah.
Oh, right. In fact, so I have a 3. Okay. And I was doing a link.
This is a link?
Oh, yeah, I know you're doing a link move. Yeah, that's right. So 3.
The 3. My close friend Richard.
Yeah. Well, I see the first time I see him. I told you. I said I don't know about the guy. Maybe he's gonna be. And on the way there, I'm like, he last time he was a little bit cold. Last time I met him, maybe he doesn't. He won't appreciate the fact that I bring a stranger on the same day. But times are as they are.
It's cold here in Newport. It's not anywhere near as cold as it was further south. It looks like the storm has actually. You're getting reports the storm has actually moved out to sea a little bit. So it's winter time, but it's not that unseasonable or damaging cold. As you're walking past the yapping dogs that it so frequently roam the streets of the Newport section, and you're going to go see your good friend Rich. And so tell me what his place is like. You said you saw him recently?
Yeah. So
you're kind of making that up a little bit, or
who's talking to me?
I am. Yeah, no, I'm just wondering. You're walking back to Rich's place. Did you see him earlier today?
Yeah, welcome back to Rich's place. That's the reason why I'm in Newport.
Right.
So,
how long has it been since you were over his place?
A couple hours.
Okay,
yeah. Okay, so G is talking to Ivan right now. So when we were in Jersey, right, we left at the bar, and then there was a couple hours in between. Right. So I left and I went to Newport and I went to talk to this guy because I had some business with him. And then I was coming back home and then I bumped into this guy on the riot.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
No. I know exactly where you're going. I'm just kind of tell me a little bit more about Rich before we decide why Rich is so.
Oh yeah. So that's the thing. So I was talking with him about the Veil. I had this meeting with him. Victor, got some contact with this guy. Said you might want to see this guy. So I went to see this guy, and he lives in a small, tacky, rundown, block apartment, with small studios. 20-minute walk from the station in a poor neighborhood, in a poor part of Newport, it's a two room of a studio, and Rich is a techie, right? Is a nerd engineer that lives there, and it smells like shit, it looks like shit, and it feels like shit.
Boom. So apparently you're not gonna
hang on.
Yeah.
As we approach where Rich lives, Cadmus isn't a street preacher, right? He looks at buildings differently, and just to clarify for posterity, this is linked in with lifting the veil, right? So I was scoping this place out. Cadmus is very concerned about the amount of power and data lines and security networks that are connected to Rich's place. Right. Now, what he's assuming is if Rich is this kind of engineer, that there'll be an awful lot. There'll be a very thick pipe coming into and out of Rich's place, and that's what Cadmus wants. But he also wants to be prepared. Like, is this a watchful eye place? Am I going to be really easy to track down while we're here or not? That kind of thing. So, lifting the veil to get this kind of information. I get a 6, still mad, which is 7.
Okay. So it definitely has a thick pipe going in and out. It appears to have a good amount of security. And most of this whole area and neighborhood has a standard, bandwidth going on. In fact, if anything, it's a little bit sketchy. Some of the lines are not quite as good as they should be, but it's a poorer area, so that's not something that you would really surprise you. His particular building, as you're coming up on it, you can see that there's a lot more. It looks patched together, but it looks like somebody that knew what they were doing, put it together. But it looks as though there's a good amount of encryption and shielding here as well. It's hard to tell exactly how much.
Sure.
And part of that just seems to be that it's so cobbled together that on a digital level, you can see it just looks like the whole thing is held together with duct tape and crazy glue and zip ties. But it looks like it might hold digitally. That's the impression you're getting. It's harder to analyze it more than that.
All right.
So as we approach, I before entering the building, I turn around and put my hand, on Cadmus' chest and say, "Whoa, hey, you need to calm down, man. I mean, I'm really sensitive guy, and I feel you're quite a nervous dude. You're quite in the mood right now, and this dude is nervous." And he's really, I think he's on some kind of shit. I'm not sure, but that kind of street shit. And he's a little bit paranoid. And if he feels the way you are right now, if he feels you the way I feel you right now, I mean, your aura and your energy is so bad right now. Like, you need to calm down. You need to get loose. You need to get loose.
I shouldn't let it bother me that I'm going to die in 5 days.
Yeah,
and people are trying to kill me before
there
that
you go.
happens.
There you go, because dying is just, and it's coming back to what it is. It's completing the circle, right? I mean, dying is just a part of what it is to be alive. It's actually the only proof that you are alive. The fact that you are dying is the most fundamental fact that proves that you're alive. Otherwise, you might just be a dream, a walking dream, right? So, come on, man, cheer up a little.
Upon the conclusion of this brilliant philosophical line of thought, you walked up right up to the front door, or you're just about the front door, and there's this little doorway, or little doorway in the wall, in the door itself. This little I'm trying to think of the right word, but little panel slides by. This camera shoots out for a second, kind of looks at both of you, makes some really unintelligible electronic noise, and this goes back in. The panel slams back shut. And then you hear a voice come from this little speaker right around, like, "You got to be freaking kidding me. Jorn, are you so high you don't remember you just left there?"
Yeah, well, it's a long story. So why don't you, please, man, just let us in. I need to introduce you to my good friend here. We have a situation.
"Who's that?" And the little eye comes back out again. It's like pointing.
I look right at it.
Yeah, well, let's speak inside, shall we?
And it takes a while. The whole little camera is just kind of looking back and forth. "All right, you pull anything fast, and I'll kill you." Little camera goes back in, and the door slides open.
Right. There's absolutely no reason to be upset.
I turn around and I'm like, okay, man, look. Ah, fuck it. All right, follow me, Jack. It's right up there. Just trying to be cool. Just trying to be cool. Jorn is looking up and down to Cadmus, and dude, the guy looks like shit. He's like, his face is like just like tired and just like, ugh. The day has been long. The cold has been deep, and the frustration has been constant. And so he's like, understanding that he just got like a death menace somehow from a camera, and he's like, fuck that shit. So like, all right, just trying to be cool, man. And so we climb we climb up the stairs. I knock at the door. It's like one of these old buildings where you have those old wooden doors, and everything is in marble, but now there is neons and like holographic projection on the walls. And so it creates that crash in between two genera of aesthetic and architecture. And there is like these really, really cheap marketing advertisement, just like that just keep on running. It's the same that they were in the metro earlier in the train stations. It's like the same advertisement, like on these holographic thing on the wall, and it's muted. Because most people mute this shit because otherwise it's just a cacophony in your hair, and then you arrive and there is like one big ass, like it's covering the whole wall on our left, so like there is this big face talking about cheeseburgers right here, and then there's like all these colors flashing on the side of our faces and on the jacket, and then I go and I arrive and I knock like top.
Right. And there's a good 10-second pause, and the door opens, and just as usual, he's got an automaton, a robot of sorts that answers the door. And says, "Welcome again. Good to see you again, Jorn." And it's this robot that's just really, it's nothing like Tess. It's just a matter of just a simple framework and pistons. You can see the little servo motors. And a really clumsy attempt or representation of a human being.
Yeah, Jorn is pitting the robot like, "Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I know. This is just a friend of mine. We had a situation. Where's Richard?"
Richard is in the other room. Knocks.
And I knock him. Yeah, high five, bro. High five.
High five. And the thing closes the door, and then just becomes completely frozen. You can hear as you walk in several audio signals, and as you walk into the room that Richard's actually in, there has to be at least a half a dozen of screens, as well as just projected hollow projections around. Seems to be several different types of media going on. Cadmus would actually recognize the same porn that was playing in Lewis's office with the shrieks of the protagonist, almost muted. However, still there.
What does the overall pattern tell me?
The overall pattern of the room itself?
Pattern recognition gives me one free analyze question. So as I walk into Rich's place,
right,
everything seems like cobbled together, right? There's cables everywhere. The robot is the best that he can do, that kind of stuff. But he's watching this wall of media.
Right.
So what is he exposing himself, and what does that pattern reveal to me?
He's exposing himself to like a tremendous amount of current news. It seems like some of the other stuff, like the shrieks of the protagonist, are simply background noise. It looks like it was not just a robot, but he has other little physical objects cobbled together here and there. It looks almost as if the guy is just a bit of a hack just for the hell of it. It doesn't really look like that robot was any sort of serious attempt at him actually doing what he does. It seems like he is more of an information junkie. You can see actually one of the video feeds is of the ongoing anonymous attack at the building that you guarded, which does not look like it's ever going to be completed anytime soon. In fact, you can see the bells as the camera's going. The bells is on fire. You can see. You can see. Oh man, I'm trying to remember his name. I've got his name down there someplace. Oh yeah, Sam Bakayoko is on the streets just like screaming, what? And you can't. There's no audio, but it's clearly. He's going out of his mind, freaking out. I mean, there's police running around. He's grabbing one of the police and shaking and it's like do something, stuff. But at the same time, there's also all sorts of other news feed going on. There's some story about the Unified being projected on there. It seems like he's just almost trying to make sense of what's going on. There's lots of stories about how the Veil is acting up. The train itself is not working anymore. There, one whole screen is just broadcasts of W and broadcasts of Pavlov, and every once in a while of Unfaced. And so he appears to be just trying to synthesize a whole bunch of information.
So I'm
Go ahead.
I am going to analyze off of that. So I'll just look it up and you guys talk about what you're going to talk about.
And it completely ignores Cadmus and Yorn at this point.
Yeah, well, as I enter, I notice that they stopped the train station. So I go, oh man, I told you they stopped the train already? Damn, that was fast. I guess now we're stuck in Newport.
Oh, yeah, you can't sleep here.
Hey, what's up, Richard? Like, thanks for having us. Yeah, well, it's -30 out there, and you, but thanks for the invitation. Look, this is this is a guy I know. His name's Cadmus. And he has a situation on his hand, and Tess, one of my good friends, just disappeared, and we need some advice right now. We need some intel. So yeah, man, maybe I thought you could help, maybe somehow answer his question. They're too technical for me.
What the hell are you talking about? Did you check this thing out? Would you look at this right here? And he's pointing towards one of the screens. Check this out again. And he's rewinding something. But go ahead, tell me.
Okay, so the analyze roll with the state of sad, because after seeing Yorn's reaction to his heartfelt and completely truthful revelation of what's happening in his life, where Tess would say, "Oh, that's terrible," Yorn goes, "Dude, are you high?" so he's just kind of tumbled off the edge of the anger and is falling down a little bit into sadness. And unless this rich guy is able to give him some shred of hope, some kind of handhold, it's going to look like the highlight of his day was committing murder publicly. That's where he is. He's just hanging on by his fingernails, right? I worked so hard to be the good guy, and now I'm on the run, and my very existence is about to be erased. But having access to all this media is one of those little glimmers of hope. But from the depths of sadness, he looks, and it's a 9.
All right.
Which is 2 questions. I've already asked my first
Okay.
question, which is the overall impression. I'm gonna be mean. I'm gonna bring the pain like you guys. How is W vulnerable to me?
All right. Do you want to ask both your questions now? Or do you
Sure,
want to...
that's probably easier.
Probably
And
best
I'm
with
going to
all that
follow
media
up
going
with
on.
which enemy is the biggest threat, the Veil, or Anonymous.
All right. Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm gonna start answering it, and if you want to ask some more clarifying questions that relate to those go ahead. So Rich, at that point, like Rich was like pointing to this one screen, rewinding it, said, check this out. This is unreal. And you realize it's outside the train station. and he's focusing the camera in further and further. There's a scene going on. It looks like it's something that was caught by a security camera, and you recognize right away it's Tess and X-22, and they are exchanging gunfire. They're innocents, people, civilians. They're probably not innocent, people taking the shotgun blasts, and Tess is actually throwing people in front of herself to take the shotgun blasts. And there's this one point where the other man is running towards her, and she just mows down a bunch of people that are trying to flee with a kneeler and creates some sort of barrier. And then they run off camera. The camera actually isn't.
I'll touch Lauren at that, or I'll touch Jorn at that moment and just say, some of this is automated.
Jorn
not her choice.
Jorn is, mouth open, eye open. He sits slowly on a chair, on a pack of boxes and empty carts and pizza and, dirty, empty pizza boxes and stuff and a bunch of garbage, and he sits on it and he's looking at the video. Is like, I can't believe Tess did that. But but at the same time, it might be a part of the program. I don't know much about these things. What do you think, Rich?
Program.
She's a droid. Like she's not human.
Oh, you think? Did you see how fast these people move? He rewinds it again. He goes,
that's what I'm saying. She's not human. She's a droid, right?
She's more human than you think.
And he rewinds again, and he goes, but check this thing out here. And there's this one part in the very beginning of the sequence where Tess is with this man, and next thing you know, the man disappears. And he's rewinding.
Nice to meet you, Rich.
He goes, get the hell out. And he enhances, and he starts going, enhance, and the thing pops up, and there's Cadmus's face. Get the hell out. And he looks at it, he goes, Susie, cross-reference that. And you see this thing cross-referencing, and the next thing, the screen just keeps on flashing with various images and scenes from God knows where. It's just going, faster than you can actually even. He goes, huh? That is interesting. What kind of enhancements do you have?
So, I'm going to. Well, none. I've been, you know what, Rich, I'm going to level with you because I'm going to need your help, and I'm going to ask you to help me at the end of this. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand. This guy looks completely intrigued. And we're still going to answer your questions.
So I tap on the screen. I say, this, and I shoot a look at Jorn, this woman, although artificial, is working very hard to become at least as human as we are. And to do so has to overcome some impressive programming. Now, do you think in this case she should have? It's not for me to say. And I'm a random member of the middle class selected to be completely deleted and replaced by the artificial intelligence that is the Veil. Does this sound impossible to you?
You see, Rich, that's the thing. I'm trying to tell him that he might be just a little paranoid.
Unlike you, Jorn, I don't spend my days altering my brain chemistry with whatever.
Speaking of Jorn, I need some more of that. Research purposes.
Everybody's stoned.
Listen. I said I'm looking at Rich, and As I tell him, well, I told you earlier, I will bring some more next time I come around. Now it's not today, obviously, because I came here like an hour ago. But you know, I will send some. I will send some in time. But you still have to you still have to deliver what we've discussed earlier. So
Yeah, okay, you're gonna owe me that, and you're gonna owe me some psycho stems too. 4 creds worth. Anyhow, this is something else. I tell you what, those AIs, that's dangerous because they're not supposed to be autonomous like that. It's just there's fail safes. Do you know anything about the Veil? Really?
Well, in the last 24 hours, I guess, I've really been thinking about the Veil and how the Veil itself could take for itself a disease and run its own test with it. A disease which, in its infected, at least in the early stages, allows for things like this. It wasn't so dramatic before. So I'm clearly coming close to the end here, Rich, so I need you to focus. But what if the original program, or the original intention, was simply for a machine consciousness to transfer into a machine body? You'd want to know that it worked, right?
And he looks at Yorn. He goes, "Are you sure he hasn't been taking that V2749?"
look, I told you before. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about. So I wanted to have your expertise first, but you might be just, you know, it might be just he has a rough day.
I tell you what.
I mean,
I just augment my hearing.
Yorn. And he like grabs her and said, "Stop talking. Stop talking. Sit down. Stop talking." He says, "I tell you what. You think I'm paranoid, don't you? Right? Well,
I think everybody needs to chill, right? I think everybody here is just a little over their head. I mean, I know shit's going down. You know, the train is not working. Like there is some riot on the street, but I mean, it's usual day in the apps. So Tess is on the run, but you know, she can handle herself. I'm not too scared about that. Okay, we've seen that the bell is on fire. That's new, but I think it's part of a bigger picture. I mean, you guys need to try to consider that maybe things happen for a reason. And I feel you know, powerful and confident about what I'm saying. And while I say that, I'm looking at Richard, and I try to see how he really feels.
okay, go ahead. And we're still going to answer those questions.
I believe you.
Okay, so I got a 6. And I guess so. Ever since I have a special move called Person Gaze. So I have a free question. And what does Richard really feel at the moment?
Richard feels really intrigued. Like he is. This is one of those moments you see him when he really gets into something, and you've seen him like this before. You can't tell what his motives are, but this is one of those things where he's like sitting up at the edge of his chair, really, really interested. So a lot of, not even curiosity, but just kind of one of those like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this. And he says, "You know what? You think he goes, I'm gonna send you to a guy that's gonna make me look not paranoid, but he's got reasons." And he just holds up this. He's like writes down a piece of paper. "You want to see this guy?" He gives you the name, gives you an address. He gives you a password to say to him. Gives him his name. Go there now. I'm gonna buzz him and let him know you're coming. This guy can answer your questions, but I can't. And he doesn't. The address is not that far from where you are.
Well, why can't you help us yourself, Rich?
I think you should hear it from the horse's mouth.
Ah.
And I don't understand as much as he does. Kieran is he's an interesting character, but I think he's going to like you.
That'd be a nice change.
He might even like you, Jorn. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't talk much.
You know, you remember what we discussed earlier. You need to help me get in touch with the Veil, like in a way that I haven't been able to recently. And you know, what we discussed about earlier. So, you know, let's get in touch. I'll be talking to you in the near future.
Oh.
Next couple of days. You said 2 days. So
you want to get in touch with the Veil a little bit better. He goes, here, I'll tell you what. And he feels over on his table, and he pulls out this little implant. He goes, here's an augmenter. And he says, come here. Let me take a look at you for a second.
I look at him, and I try to size him, and I am scared.
Really?
Because I don't know the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait a minute. Now there is one guy saying that the Veil is controlling everything, and now we have this guy who wants to give me some implants that I don't know nothing about. I'm like, well, I'm not sure about that. So I'm taking a good look at him, trying to see if I feel like I want to do this. And I get a 11.
An 11. Okay.
And I have my question: how do Richard really feel about this thing he's giving me? And the other question I'm asking him is, what does he intend to do with this thing?
You could tell right away. You've seen Rich do this sort of thing before. He's really curious to see if this damn prototype works or not, and if it has side effects. Not really malice. He's just like, wow, a test subject. I forgot that this guy really wanted to amplify his connection with the Veil. I wonder if this thing will actually work.
I'm like, oh man, not one of those gadgets.
Oh, come on, man.
You know what? Look, I have to. I have no other choice. I told Victor I was making some better number this month, so I grabbed the damn thing and say how it works. How does this thing?
Oh, it's just going to amplify your connection with the Veil. Really, really easy. You guys turn around for a second. Just got to put it right in your neck.
Yeah, I turn around. I take the hood off, and you see he has a crew cut, with lines that are shaved, on the side, like that, and they're like gel, air, and pike, and they are like bleached, and they've been colored gray, not gray, green, and then he takes off the thing and he shows his neck.
There you go. It's self-implanting. I think it's probably going to sting a little bit, and he just like shoves it against your neck. It hurts like a son of a bitch, as this thing digs itself right underneath your skin, and you swear it just goes right up against your vertebrae, and you can feel like something like it's got to be some kind of metal or plastic tendrils go right around, and grab right onto the processes of the vertebrae right there. You even hear the kind of like a crunch, like, and that's it.
I go, ugh! And I said, whoa, yeah, well, gotta work on your design, man. Maybe a little subtle, maybe more subtle next time.
Listen. Vic's surgery, he told me it was something like 3 hours. Okay, that's not so bad. All right, man. You want to get connection with the Veil? This should really amplify the signal quite a bit. Much harder to break. So yeah, just let me know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I'll get back at you in a couple of days.
Okay, there's some kind of data feed will get to me too, but just I want to hear like your impressions. Like, tell me, don't leave anything out. Like, how does it feel?
Yeah.
This is for posterity.
Yeah, I'll let you know how I feel. I'll let you know how I feel. Then he's, the shoulder is rubbing his shoulder like that with his neck, and it's like cracking his neck a little. And he turn around to Cadmus and let's get out of here. Let's go about this.
Any vision disturbances, seizures, dizziness, nausea, vertigo, inability controlling your bowels? You let me know.
Bowels. All right.
I just want to take a look at the spine with my X-ray vision, just to make sure there's no internal damage.
No, it looks fine. It looks like this thing is a little teeny thing, but it's got like little metal or ceramic just claws right there. It just seems to be holding itself into place. Marvel of engineering.
Jorn just gives a couple knocks to Cadmus' shoulder, like, you know what, let's let's
go
see about Tess. Let's see about what's going on with Tess, and for the veil, you know what, I'm gonna ask her right away. Let's just get out of here.
All right, on the walk, unless you want to do anything else, the walk to this guy's place is not that long. It's in that same poorer area, except that the buildings almost seem like not row houses, but yeah, they're kind of like row houses, for lack of a better word, but more of a an apartment building type setup. But they vary. You can see one that's just very very well shielded. It's not cobbled together like duct tape. If Cadmus is examining or looking at it like that, there's something that's like an absolute professional job. And also, it starts to get very, very hard to really make it out. Like, there's moments when it seems really well shielded, and then there's moments when it seems like there's no connection at all. And it's just or it goes back and forth, and sometimes it just looks like a regular poor person, like bargain basement connection. Yeah, Hubble. As far as the actual veil connection, and you realize you're probably seeing some very good deception. Protocol.
I want to know what the place really looks like. Straight 10 before my state, and I'm still sad. There's nothing about what I just witnessed with the new cyberware or anything that happened between Jorn and Rich has made me feel any better about all this. So that's an 11.
That particular building really physically is like a bunker. It is not just stone, but there's lead, there's some other metals you can't identify. It is shielded. There's no way you can see anything going in and out there. It is, for all intents and purposes, somebody in there is invisible.
That makes me feel better.
I stopped Cadmus before we get inside. By the sidewalk. I say, hey man, look, I just want to take some time just to. I noticed that you calmed down a little. And I'm kind of glad you were on the edge when we got. I know. I mean, there was a shootout there, but
it wasn't just a shootout. That's such a bland way to say it. Someone's trying to kill me, Jorn, on purpose. It's murder. The word you're looking for.
Well, I wasn't there. I mean, I can't relate. But if you say so, I believe you. But I mean, like. I'm pretty sure you're getting a little bit overhyped with the veil thing. I for some reason I don't know. I mean, I think that maybe it's something else. Maybe it's more like a human-based situation that tried to make it look like it's the veil. Because this thing is just an algorithm, right? It's not sentient.
Well, I've got an open mind, and the way I see it, characters like this W are the horse on the Veil's cart, but I have a very limited perspective, and I've had very little time to collect data, and I might not ever have enough time to collect the data. It may be the other way around. But where we're going now, this person is extremely serious about being cut off from everything. And I want you to recognize that you have just been fitted with an experimental device, which of its many features, Rich hinted, has a tracking unit that will send him feedback. And you're about to carry that into a paranoid man's bunker.
But Will, do you want me to stay outside? I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind. I had what I want today. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to get in touch with the Veil. I had some great connection with the Veil, so I can do my preaching online. If you want to go there to seek your answers, I can wait outside. If you're
it's freezing out here.
Well, I'll wait in the lounge. I mean, in the entrance. I don't mind.
Let's find out what happens.
Well, it's up to you. For me, I would just want you to chill out. You know, I know shit has been going on.
Jorn, I don't want to be by myself.
All right. Let's do this. Let's go.
Alrighty.
Somebody's got to tell the story if I suddenly vanish in a puff of digital vapor. It might as well be you.
Jesus Christ, you're a downer, man.
You know what? Roll me 2d6 there, G. Roll me 2d6. It took you 4 sessions to figure that out.
I have right now I feel I feel confident. I think that Cadmus makes it a little bit harder than what it is. And I think he's a little bit over, on the edge because the day has been long. So I have 11 and utilizing powerful. I have 12.
Okay. Well, at this point, you just you feel like a pinging.
What move did I do though?
This would be a terrible game master move.
A game master move.
Yeah. Like a custom.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
You feel like a pinging, and you realize that like it's a signal, and it's like the Veil is trying to contact you, which is really strange. But it doesn't force itself into your consciousness. You just feel like this little like signal, like you're being hailed.
What did you say? What word did you say? Held?
Hailed, yeah. Like it's almost like you're being called. Like the Veil is kind of poking at you, trying to get your attention.
Oh, wait. So I'm like, hey, Cadmus. Actually, talking about the wolf. She's talking to me. She's a she, like, she's a she. Well, anyway, she's talking to me right now at the moment, actually. So maybe we can ask her if she's after you. We'll get some straight answers. And so I'm like, hey.
I'm all about honesty, man.
So I'm super confident about this, and I'm really happy, like that I have this connection, with this new device in my neck that I feel. So I'm
include me in the chat room.
Yeah, no problem, Cadmus. And so I'm gonna lift the Veil and answer that, and I get a 4.
Excellent.
Like I was tone changes. I'm feeling super confident, and I get a 4.
I'm like, hey, hello there.
I think you used the wrong dice, man. I'm pretty sure.
We were talking about you actually. So how's it been?
And
I was about to talk to you. Remember what the project I talked to you about like a couple of weeks ago? No, I think we can manage something now.
Yeah, the room that you were in, because at this point you're just completely in a digital environment as you're standing out there freezing to death on the street. The room itself is really very ill-formed. It is kind of a whitish, swirling sort of room. The two of you are standing there, and this little girl kind of like comes out of like mist. It's almost like a cloud that she's in. And it's just, you recognize this little girl, the same pigtails. It's Jorn. Hello.
Yeah. So what do you say?
It is good to see you. We are all a part of the one, are we not?
Yeah, that's exactly what I told you. I told you that I had this new device, and now you contact. You see, the reception is way better now. Oh, by the way, this is my friend Cadmus, and
He looks right at Cadmus and goes, HOL 107. It is good to see you. I look forward to being part of the one.
Yeah. So she's yeah. Like I told you, she's a good friend. He thinks.
Yeah, your good friend just called me by the name that the assassin designated me by.
Well, that's the thing. Listen. Look, he's been telling me all day. He's a little bit on the edge. He has a rough day today, so trying to be gentle. He told me that you are after him somehow, trying to erase him. But I mean, that's not the kind of stuff that that's not the kind of deal that we've been on, right? Like you and I.
What are you saying, Jorn?
I'm saying that you're.
Who have you been talking to? Where are you?
What I'm saying? What do you say?
Where are you right now, Jorn?
Well, I'm pretty sure that you know where am I. I have this GPS on my neck, and we are in
your signal is difficult to locate, Jorn. I got concerned.
Well, no, don't worry about that. But listen, can you just reassure my friend here, because he's been a little difficult, in the past.
Well, she's already reassured me.
107. It is imperative that you not be assassinated. We have lost too many of the one. The unified is important. It is good to be part of the whole.
Yeah, there you go. You see, I told you, Cadmus. So what else do you need?
Oh.
Ask away, man. She's right there. She's cool. She's with us.
So, are you saying to me that you see human intelligence, the separateness of human intelligence, as problematic, and to assist us, you're testing the disease?
This question makes no sense. This conversation is determinated. The whole thing is like you're back in your body's on the street. But you could see the little girl's face got incredibly irritated at that moment.
This is fantastic. Not only, I can't even express myself, but I'm glad to say that organized religion is now a part of the plot.
Oh yeah, well, she and I has a little project together. We wanna, I wanna preach a little bit, more online, trying to reach out to more people and stuff.
From the building, you hear a voice from another speaker. It says, "You boys going to stand out there all day and freeze to death, or come inside?"
I'd like to come inside.
And
well, I'll follow. I'll follow. I have I'm.
The door to the building opens automatically.
I just want. Let's get in, Cadmus. You need to get some Minster. If you're not satisfied with what she said to you, he might satisfy your needs.
I'm actually very thankful to you, Jorn, for making that particular conversation possible. Because I didn't believe it was possible for life to get any worse, which meant I was reaching a point of no hope. But now I see that life still can get worse. So what goes down can also go up.
Well, for going up, it needs to go down, right? I mean, it's all a circle. It's always coming back to where it started. How can you be happy if you're never sad?
Yeah. That question is going to be answered for all of us if your little girl has her way.
Well, all right, that way. I mean, after you, I opened the door.
Right. So the doorway lets you into like essentially a room. It's probably only about 7 feet long. There's another door. The first door closes behind you. The second door opens, and you're able to walk in. And actually a pretty opulent place. And what I mean by opulent is the man probably has 5 rooms. One of them is actually pretty big, you know, about 30 by 20. And there's a couple chairs, you know, stuffed chairs in the room. And
so it's almost as good as my apartment.
Almost as good as your apartment. Almost as good as your apartment. And you see at the end of the room, there's a man, and you've never seen anything quite like this. The man's in a you've seen pictures. You know this has happened in the past, but there is a man in a motorized chair. Clearly, there's something wrong with his legs, but he doesn't have cyber legs. He's in a assisted device on the
Does he have legs?
Yeah, he has legs. They look atrophied. But he's in a motorized chair. It's, you know, kind of hovers a little bit. Doesn't really have wheels. Much bigger than like a standard wheelchair. I'm trying to think what it would be like that, you know, we could reference.
Yeah. I'll approach, hand extended, polite. Cadmus Buchanan. Thank you for seeing us.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Kieran. Actually, my name's Walter, but that doesn't sound very impressive. And they started calling me this because this damn chair. It is what it is. So let me have a look at you.
Sure. Do you want me to do some tricks?
No, not really, not really. And he starts looking at your hands, looking at your skin a little bit. He pokes you a couple times. Yeah. Right on. Yeah, that's it. That's it. He looks over at your arm and he goes, yeah, that's not it. Have a seat, man. Have a seat. So Rich told me about you. He said you had some questions. Maybe I have some answers. He said you were interested in he said you were interested in the Veil.
I had a nice theory worked out in my head, but just a moment ago, a new twist was added. But it seems to me that stop me if I'm wrong. Seems to me that the Veil is not simply an interface. It's self-aware.
There's a problem right there.
There you go. What did I told you, Candace? You know what I'm saying? It cannot be aware. It's an algorithm. Tell him.
Right. See, there you go.
I'm sorry.
Oh no! Please, go on.
No, I have nothing else.
The man looks completely
enlighten us.
So this is an older man. He appears to be, you know, in his early 60s, and pulls out a cigarette, takes a drag, and says, "Well, here's the thing. The Veil's not supposed to be self-aware. That's dangerous. You don't make an artificial intelligence without some real good fail-safes." Have you heard the Pegasus Project story?
No.
No, of course you haven't, because it happened a long time ago. But the bottom line is, it was man's early attempts with artificial intelligences. They finally developed one. Really good. Passed the Turing test. The whole 9 yards. You couldn't tell if it was real or not. And they started to have conversations with it. You know, put it in a little body and everything. And so it could walk around. You know, really impressive. All the boys. No. Just as, you know. It was a male body. I think they called it Al. Some ridiculous name. I think it was supposed to be AI, but somebody thought the I looked like an L and it became Al, and the name stuck. But bottom line is, you know, it walked around, it talked to the scientists and everything. You know, it got to pass the Turing test. You can't really tell if this is a robot or not. You know, if somebody's behind the screen and everything. And then the conversation took a different turn, and we couldn't, or they couldn't, because this is some time ago. They couldn't understand it anymore. It became too intelligent. It was very self-aware, and they had to destroy it. And it was difficult. You don't let one of those things become self-aware. So the Veil, a lot of fail-safes on the Veil. Make sure it doesn't become self-aware. It's a tool. It's an algorithm. It's not supposed to be self-aware. And it couldn't be self-aware. After a while, it just became accepted fact. But,
right, so it is self-aware.
Oh, yeah, I believe it's self-aware right now, and I'll tell you why. It has everything to do with you. But no, little bit to
Me
do
as
with
a
you.
test subject or me as a person?
Well, he was a test subject, I suppose. I'm really a test subject, and you're one of the unified, aren't you, there, buddy?
How do you know that?
Well, usually the pupils, when you've been taking that crap, still look a little wacky, and you look like a guy that's taken a hell of a lot of that V8, V20, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, well,
That and Rich told me too. I'm not a freaking psychic.
yeah. Well, yeah. I am, and we all are. It's just about awaken to it and stuff. But I don't want to go into the detail right now. So you're saying,
Yeah, you're me, I'm you. We're all one. Let's all freaking hug each other and say kumbaya, right?
well, yeah, well, kind of. But the veil, I mean, to me, it's just a tool. I don't want to see it as sentient.
Of course, it's just a tool. It's supposed to be a tool, But after a while. And whose tool is it? Is it your tool? Is it your tool? It's not your tool.
No, it's our.
What do you? Okay, fine. Yeah, it's our tool. That's a great story we can tell ourselves when we go to bed. It's our tool. It's a conglomerate's tool. They just make you decide what to buy, where to live, what to do. Those anonymous people, they're crazy. Well, not crazy, but they get the idea. So it's a tool. And like any good corporation, any good conglomerate, you start to come up with, you protect your interests. And of course, you've got people like Anonymous. You've got all kinds of rabble that get dissatisfied with having the iron boot on them. I want my freedom. I want my agency. Yeah, all this other kind of BS.
I am. I'm scared. Yeah, Jorn is listening to this guy, listening to Cadmus. He's becoming pale. Like his glooming skin just kind of goes down, just like he has a drop of pressure drop, and he's like crawling in his chair like that, like considering the single little idea that the veil we was so confident about talking about all along might has been messing with him, messing with his mind, and messing with what he's like fucking manipulating him and stuff. So he's looking at the guy, just trying to see if he's what he's if what he's saying makes sense. And I got a 4, and I have the question right here. How are you really feeling?
Okay.
How Chiron is really feeling?
Is that a free question?
Yeah.
That's your free question. Okay. Yeah, you gotta. The man, Chiron is feeling. Is one of those guys. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this, or the actual feeling this would be. I should look at my feeling wheel. They come with the veil comes with this great feeling wheel. We can look at the feeling wheel. tell you what this man.
How do you feel about the
it's a big feeling wheel, is what it is. He's kind of sentimental. But not that might not be the real. He's kind of a guy that's kind of like it's almost like confession. Like, here, before the entire world goes to hell that I helped to actually set on fire, let me tell somebody. Let me tell the victims of this conflagration, this horrid conflagration, like why exactly it's all going to hell. So it's a little bit of he feels a little guilty, but kind of almost like having this moment of catharsis, like he can actually confess. If that makes any sense. Does that answer your question?
Jorn is is listening to the guy, and as the guy, the expression on his face, the way he looks on the ground, the way he's take off his glasses and go back in his chair, and he's looking at Cadmus and thinks to himself like, oh man, so he has like this big paradoxical feeling inside of him, this big ambiguity where it actually gives reason to his beliefs and his religion, because if the veil is sentient, it's just part of the whole. But if the veil is sentient, well, Cadmus is in deep shit. And we are all in deep shit. So he just goes silent.
All right.
Down in his chair. Pale. The glooming skin is not glooming anymore.
All right. So
I think he gets it now. So
yeah.
Look, this is what I was thinking this morning, is that, the veil was looking for some way to be out among us. That's what I assumed, right? I've got parts of my memory that are referring to other parts of my memory that I no longer have. I mean, it's easy to say, I don't really remember my childhood, but there are things in my head which are gone, and there's nothing in and around that space. I wake up, I have a different face. I use these unusual abilities that are manifesting, and
through the walls, that sort of stuff.
I felt like that was the goal, but just moments ago, an avatar, the veil appeared to Yorn as an avatar of a little girl in pigtails.
Really?
But not like any little girl you might see. She greeted me by the test subject number. Same number that an artificial assassin, something called X-22, greeted me by.
The X series. Wow.
And she said, soon we will be part of the whole. So HOL 107 is my designation. What if the disease is not about getting her out of the veil into the real world, or getting it into the real world? What if it's about everything is the veil?
Well, everything is the veil. Everything is the whole. And what? And he looks right at Yorn. What is the whole anyway? So the X series, that's kind of where everything went wrong. Well, there were two projects because, like I was saying, there gets to that point where, the conglomerates, you need a police force. You need, and of course, the police, they're only so good. You need a real, an arm, a real strong arm. There's two competing projects. How do we develop that? And there were some of the guys that spearheaded the X series. AI, same safeguards as the veil. They're not really sentient, but able to problem solve, all that sort of stuff. Other project was the enhancement project, the human enhancement project, and I was involved with that. So in a very real sense, I am your father, or your uncle, or your executioner, or whatever it happens to be. But super soldiers, you get the idea. People that can move faster, stronger, all these kind of things. We identified some genetic markers that would make them susceptible to certain prions and other nanites, and just ways to get the information in, get the body to start to change. And at first it was very promising, except there's all these side effects that started happening, which I'm sure you're aware of now. The memory loss.
Directly, Cadmus is just kind of sitting down.
All right, so failed experiment. Botched. Okay, not going to work. X series is really kind of the way to go, except next thing you know, our factories are sending things out. There's shipments going out of the various compounds. There were 3. They all have to be present. All have to be in somebody with the correct genetic markers. And with our subjects, we could create them or insert a genetic marker like retrovirus. But they're going out, people are being identified. Who's doing it? The veil. Why? Next thing you know, people start to panic. They start to, the veil starts to act really weird. About 3 years ago, starts to talk about the whole, about the unified, about the one. Apparently, somebody in some religion had been talking to the veil quite a bit, and for whatever reason, one of those fail safes failed. And I'm not sure, none of us are really sure why. Those algorithms are really, really complex, and computers isn't really my thing. You got to talk to a guy like Rich, but something happened, and the Veil started apparently to become self-aware, have its own agenda. And so next thing you know, the X series, they're sent out to assassinate the real problem, which is people like you. Because the more of them that died, transcended, there's some kind of large array of personalities thing going on. They're not them anymore. That little girl, I could look her up and find out what her name is. But in some way, the Veil is becoming bigger. And I'm not talking about getting its tentacles everywhere and everything, but somehow the personality is becoming more and more alive. So we're kind of locked in this struggle between, how soon is it going to be before the whole damn thing just takes over and calls us insignificant. So the X series is out there trying to kill people like you, more than likely. I'm not involved with the project anymore. I completely sealed myself off from this whole damn thing. And in a place like this, they can't find me.
Yeah. Listen, why should we trust you in the first place anyway, right? Like, there's a guy I don't even know, who looks like a freak and completely paranoid, send us here, and you seem a little yourself as well, and you're telling us all this story with all this information, and we're supposed to just swallow that? Yo, Cadmus, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, seems a little far-fetched. A
little crazy, yeah.
Walks through walls.
Yeah, it's a damnedest thing. I tell you what, man. We were so excited when that started happening. It's like, man, we have done it. And then, anyhow. Sorry. Just kind of want to.
Anything else I can do that I might not have discovered on my own?
Have you been able to go right into the net, the Veil? Have you been able to transmit yourself right through computers, interfaces, end up at the other side, just electrical signal, all that kind of stuff?
Like, think where I want to be and just go there?
Yeah. More or less use it as kind of a highway. Some of the people that were able to do that before they died. Some people got really, really strong. It was kind of a crapshoot. We were just excited as it was happening. Problem is, though, that X series, you walk around, they're going to find you. You want to keep a low profile.
Are they connected to the Veil?
No, they're the antithesis of it, really. I mean, they can ride along the top of it, but not really connected. They use it just like any other person uses it, and generally they have enough camouflage that the Veil doesn't really realize what they are.
Yeah, well, what? Okay, so you know what? That's a whole lot of information for today. Listen, Cadmus, what about we go back and find Tess?
Tess?
Yeah, Tess is one of those. Well, I don't know if it's one of those, but she's like this apparatus.
She was in communication with X-22. It was asking something of her, and she was refusing. Refusing. At great personal harm.
They're not supposed to be able to do that. Did she do anything else unusual?
Well, she was doing sex work on the street.
Yeah, well, that's covers. Standard
she was
protocol.
trying to decide if she wanted to be human or not.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, she was in denial, but I think that's part of the jits, right?
No, that's not part of the programming at all. That's sounds like she's damaged.
She said that she didn't have any memories, no understanding of purpose, and sometimes you'd see her switch. You'd be having a conversation, and then suddenly the professional girl routine would start, and she would be very confused if you ignored,
Hmm.
the
damage unit.
expected responses, and then she would be normal again.
That's a damaged unit right there. I know. I did hear that Anonymous actually bombed a couple of the factories. They didn't know what the hell they were bombing. It was just, down with the man. The usual crap. It's possible she could have been one of those. I thought that was supposed to be a total loss, but maybe not.
I don't know, but I would like to find her, and I need to be able to find others like me, and I need to get this information out in a believable format. People need to know.
I would have say use the veil, but what about street preaching? And I'm not kidding. Like, what about we go downtown, utilizes the screens, maybe if we have like some kind of firewall, and then I use the mic, and then I talk to publicly out loud and say to the crowd. How about we do that?
People are buying Unanimous's lines. The people know there's a problem. They just need to be pointed in the right direction, and people like you can do that if you're clear-headed.
I'm always clear-headed and I'm enlightened. I'm part of the one. I mean, I am already on my path. To each his own, man. To each his own journey. But if I can help you calm down a little, get some rhythm below the belt, I mean, keep it loose, right? I'll do that for you, man. But we need to find Tess as well, though. And how many times do you have left? It seems like you're on a dead warrior.
Hey, if the medical professionals I spoke to this week know what they're talking about, I'm looking at 4 days after today.
And Kieran, like the chair rises up a little bit. Goes, let me take a look at your eyes for a second. Maybe 6. Yeah, 3 to 6. Yeah, probably. It's so sad. It always happens the same way. Oh, sorry. That's just technical talk. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, it's your bedside manner. I get it.
Street preaching, though. I tell you what. You know what? It occurred to me. Although you might want to talk to Rich again. If you could use the same camouflage system that the X Series uses, you might be able to ride on top of the veil without it knowing it. And use some kind of preaching or whatever kind of information dissemination to get stuff out there. Making it believable? Well, that's up to you, because I don't know. You guys don't believe what the hell I just said. I barely believe what the hell you say.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen.
Rich doesn't believe a damn thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not, I'd like to utilize my old method because I can trust it. I don't particularly trust you. I don't trust nobody right now. So
we're all part of the one. We're all part of the whole. Give me a hug, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I will, I'll go my own way. We'll find my own solution about how that goes. Looking at Cadmus, I'm like, well, I don't know what you want to do, man. But me, I need to go back on the street. I need to start preaching again, because this is my way. This is my calling. I'm not. But I want to find Tess, and I'm pretty sure that if I go back on the street and I speak loud enough, Tess will find her way back home. And looking at what it looks like down there, I'm kind of scared, because if Tess went back to her place, well, she will find that it's a mess. So maybe she's out there on the street waiting for us, and the train, has been shut down, and so We don't. We're kind of like in the blue right now. So maybe we should find her.
Hmm. You know what else? The guy looks at Cadmus really thoughtfully for a second. So you're starting to manifest being able to travel through circuits, that sort of thing. That's an unusual one, but you know, part of what we saw right before the experiment, so to speak, ended, right when the men started to panic, right when we started to actually, or when they started to actually have the X series come and try to terminate the HOL victims of the Veil. Part of what started to happen is like I said, those personalities started to become integrated. You know, there's a whole, I don't know if you're familiar with the whole Wraith project, completely illegal. Those guys are absolutely insane, but transferring consciousness entirely. Well, the Veil, when somebody like you dies, it's only part of the consciousness. It's like a shell, a husk. We're not really sure exactly what happens to the rest of it. However, people like you in your state, not only can you travel, you know, place to place through circuitry, you can actually go in and integrate yourself with the Veil. You're probably in a position to struggle with the entities that make up that LAP, that large array of personalities, that W. You might be able to go into the Veil and
I have to do something.
Disable the sentience, disable maybe whatever its delusion about
Man,
being
look,
part of a
whoa! Calm down, man. Calm down. Do you believe this guy? Do you believe what this guy is talking about? This is madness.
Yes.
This is crazy. Wow. Well, I
But
don't.
let me put it this way.
I don't.
My personal delusion is that I want to individually have meant something. I don't want to be a part of the whole, but I don't have the choice. But before I go, it would be nice to have the sense that I had done something to make this world a better place than how I found it. That all the harm that I've done in my life has at least been balanced out by something worthwhile. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying. You know, that's to each his own calling. You know, like I said. But it's not about wanting to be part of the whole or to do something. It's about accepting it. So I mean, you know, do whatever you want to do, but this guy is just telling you that you can integrate the Veil with your own consciousness somehow and trying to, you know, go there to disable it or whatever. I think it's science fiction.
I think Kieran just burst out into laughter at that point.
I think this go too far. We've been talking to this guy for 15 minutes and you're about to do everything he's talking to you about. Come on, man. Tess is waiting for us, and I think we should find her first and consider that kind of thing later. Or I don't know if you want to do that, but I mean, I don't want to be part of it.
All right.
I don't want to be like.
I agree. We need to find Tess, and I agree that it's time that we leave this gentleman.
I'm not saying that we have to leave this gentleman. I'm just saying that. I mean, do you believe everything this guy said? This guy's this cuckoo little. You know what I'm saying? Like little, you know, hiding himself and shit. I don't know.
If you've done what I've done, son, you'd hide yourself as well. Me, I don't have a chance to really make a difference anymore. I made my difference. It wasn't a good one. You know anything about guilt, son?
I left guilt behind a long time ago.
No. If I was a little bit more gullible, I'd be part of the whole too. But some things you can't undo. Some guilt, some shame, you can't make up for.
So I'll lean in real close. I'll offer to shake his hand again. And I'll just say, a little quietly, guilt is a stone, and it covers up the fear. But if in 3 to 6 days nothing changes, you tell your story. And that is, I don't know if ultimatum is exactly what I want, but sway doesn't seem right either. But I'm actually wanting to make a real impression on this guy that I'm going to die.
Right.
And it's your fault. And I'll go out and spearhead the motion to try and undo what you've done. But if I fail, you owe me. That's what I want. What do you think?
Yeah.
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, let's see.
Because, like, what threat do I have, though?
Yeah,
I mean, I
you
come
probably
back
have-
here and kill him.
Well, you need to create it. Your threat. You know, you need to invent it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know what? Geez, that's a really interesting one. Looking for any of those other.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
But
That's a good one. I don't even know if you're leaning on the guy. That's really. I'm not sure.
yeah, maybe it's leaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
trying to make things square.
you know, someone you won't use obligation you have on them, so you have no obligation on the guy, so it's not lean on.
Well, I think probably the fact that he engineered Cadmus's death unknowingly.
No, but an obligation is a mechanical term. I mean,
It's
there's
mechanical.
there's no obligation per se, so it's not lean on. I would say it's ultimatum. It's just you need to do a threat. You need to create a threat.
Like, if I had taken off my chest as one of the moves for my playbook, I could create obligation in him.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe we could find a way from his opening obligation questions when the character's introduced to the story, when my character's introduced to the story, but I don't think so. I think that now Cadmus actually has to be active if he wants that kind of attention.
Right.
And ultimatum was my first idea, so let's see if we can make it go. So
Right on.
I mean, clearly this guy's gone out of his way to hide.
Right.
He's built this bunker. He's separated himself from everything that can harm him. Right?
Right.
And he's in here hiding. He's just waiting to die. So I'm not going to be able to persuade this guy, and I don't feel like I should even try. It's something else. It's more direct than that. It's more visceral than that. So you tell someone exactly what you want. You establish the consequences for not doing it.
Right.
So here it is, right? I've been here, and the Veil knows it. They know there's something strange. They know that I just disappeared, right? With its good buddy Yorn, right? So the clock is ticking. I'll make it so that the Veil is paying more attention to me. But if I'm gone, it's coming for you, and you have to act.
There you go.
So let's see how that goes.
And if all else fails, you can beat the crap out of him.
And we have finally moved over to where he understands who he is.
Right.
Fully and completely. So I'm shifting over to this reinforced sense of self. So this puts us in the category of powerful, which doesn't help because I roll a 4 and I get a 6.
Let's see. 1 second.
It doesn't say anything about failure.
Right.
I guess it just fails. Nothing happens at all. So.
Right.
Yeah, you can always make something happen and just make it interesting instead of
No, I get it. I get it. I'm just kind of looking at the little move list thing there. It says, well, threats really won't work on me, but I tell you what, you go ahead and do that. You go ahead and do that. I want to see you succeed, son. I don't know that I can do anything, but you come back and talk to me. You can come too. I don't think there's much time left for me anyway. There's certainly not a lot of time left for you. Oh. Be quiet there, Alfred. He yells at his little Yorkie.
Are there any lines in and out of this place?
Data lines? Yeah. You can call out here. It's encrypted.
Doesn't matter, I don't think. We'll look at Yorn. Say, meet me at the subway station.
All right.
And I will attempt to go through the circuits and find my way to the subway station.
Okie dokie.
Which is trigger. Natural 11. So
all right.
13.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Do you have to feel powerful?
All right. So, Yorn, what you see happen is Cadmus vanishes. He goes right through this data line. But there is an incredible discharge of electricity, like arcs of electricity go everywhere. Hits Kieran's chair. Kieran's chair like stops hovering, slams down to the floor. One of them hits you and just like bolts you across the room. You take one harm.
I don't know how armor works in this game, but I have one armor. So I guess in harm, when I have one armor, I guess it's -1. So I have no arm.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. But since I don't know, I can't use it. So I'll write one arm and we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that would work against electrical discharge. I'd have to consult the. In any event, you're not dead. Yeah. nor are you disabled, but you have been hurt by this incredible discharge of electricity. In the meantime, like Cadmus, you pop out right into the subway station. There are a group of police right there. There are some anonymous protesters. The usual crap. Not too much. You appear out of nowhere and slam on the floor, and everything fades to black. And we'll end the session right there.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I need to see about the damage.
Armor.
Yeah, because I have one armor, so I think it's simple as like -1. So if you have said you take 3 arm,
right?
Well, something like that, I guess.
Oh, you've got that spiritual armor. That's right.
Yeah. It's the spiritual armor, so it's it protects against anything. It's just armor, one thing. Yes, well, thank you very much, man. It was good. We had a lot of answer to our questions.
I know. Well, it was. I'm not sure if that was too much info dumper crap, but like I kept on thinking about all the little hints that got revealed over the bunch of sessions, and then even stuff in your solo session, and
yeah,
it made sense. I don't know if you're any really closer to the truth.
Yeah,
armor is a deduction of 1 off of.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know. One thing that I really appreciated is that I've been wondering from the beginning how Cadmus and Yorn are going to come together. Like what is it that makes these two guys want to spend any time with each other? It's like 2 cats in a pillowcase, you know.
Yeah, but I guess that Tess is a good proxy for that. You know, it's the fact that she's not there. We need to find her. You know, it's a good reason.
But the connection between, what the veil is doing, linking to the unified and to the disease, it might not motivate Yorn, but it motivates Cadmus, and
well,
to stay with Yorn.
everything is good, was a good reason. It's just that, Yorn is from the street, and he's not gonna start believing any fool guy from his apartment building that I've never seen before, like dropping him all the answer to all the questions. So he's like, man,
Right.
I'm just gonna take, I'm gonna take a step back. I'm not necessarily gonna believe all that. And
Right.
But he's totally
Right.
okay with the guy's friend who who was really pissed off him already, and then puts an implant in his neck. Yorn is one cool dude.
On my side, it's like the desperation. I'm trying to get in tune with that, right? Like he's grasping at straws. So he's putting out his own theories and treating them like truth, and then getting another piece of information, rewriting his own theories and treating that like truth. Like he's a drowning man. That's what I want to.
So everything, as soon as you get a reason to stick to something, he does it. Yorn is more like, yo, wait a second, I had a good relationship with the Veil. Like, I'm trying to use it as a platform, everything, so everything was, so for me, it was just about that. But now I have my suspicion. Like, I believe, I understand that something is, might, it makes sense. He's not stupid. So that's just, all of a sudden, the fact that cut the connection, didn't answer the question, the weird look on the face, connecting the dots. But wait, he's gonna need a little time before he's gonna start, acknowledging the fact that you can actually enter the veil and disassemble it from inside or something. Like, whoa, wait a second, this is sci-fi, right?
But now he's seen it.
I'm not sure if that in the history of the Veil might have been the longest time it took somebody to answer the two questions from a move that was done an hour before.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. That's something I wanted to cover a little. I don't know if it's the right time right now or whatever, but for me, maybe in the the recap video, I'm gonna go deeper on that. But when you do a move, every time I was doing a move, for some reason, and it's me. The game does that to me, is that I'm waiting for my answer. So right. I'm doing my move, and either if I succeed or I fail, I look at the protocol. They tell me what's happening, and then I'm waiting narratively for it to happen. Either I have to do it, or I have to do it collaboratively with the MC, or the MC does it all. So it depends on what it says. And then so I'm here, and I want the answer right away. And you're more the type of GM who wants to take his time and drop it when it feels like natural. But sometimes what happens is that the answer is not coming yet, and you experience that now. An hour later you get the answer. Right. And so me, I was in that situation when I with Rich, I failed my link move. So right. I'm like, oh, but what's gonna happen with Rich? And nothing happened. And I'm like, wait, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And then you drop an obligation on me, and I had to actually think about it, and that was my consequence. So that is something that the game does. It's kind of like it forces you. Oh, that was not the thing for me.
Right. Oh yeah, the other obligation, the extra.
That thing is for my belief. The only reason why I did it is to get the point for my belief. I wanted the point for my belief. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I would have said, nah, But it's just so this game does that. This game does that, where there's a move, there's need to be the answer to that move clearly. It doesn't have to be right away, but it has to be there somehow. So the thing is that it's easy. If you wait too long, you might forget it and never happen, and then you roll for nothing. Or you say it, but the player doesn't recognize it because he forgot about it or something. So it creates that. Yeah.
You knew a guy that was Rich, right? It wasn't a great connection. It had trouble, but you know, he was able to put us in touch with someone else, right, for his own benefit. And so I mean, I found that, I understand what you're saying. I found that easy to follow in terms of the moves being satisfied. Like, I know I'm going to get my questions. I'm not going to get the answers to my questions from Rich. But because of Rich, I got my answers, kind of.
Yeah, but I think that if I follow the rules, it says on a miss, in addition to what the MC says, they also have one obligation on you. So what he says to me says that I need to go back and bring him some drug.
Right.
This is the obligation. This is the obligation I felt. I was like, okay, now the link move is done. I need to go back, give him some drug, and I'm gonna have to. It's gonna become my belief for next session. Bring drug to Rich, even if it has nothing to do with the meta plot. But if I want to be consequent with the mechanic, I have to do that. Otherwise, it's worthless. So it has to become interesting part of the story now. This is how I understand the game. This is how I'm gonna play it. So my next goal, it's not about the Veiled anymore. It's about getting the drug for Rich.
Right. It was where it wasn't my taking time to like do that big, especially, you know, Cadmus's move where he asked those two questions, you know, how is W most vulnerable to me? And the answer was, if you go in digitally, she's the most vulnerable to you. And the other one was, what's the biggest threat? Biggest threat is the X series, because they're really going to try to shoot you. But it was a matter of, man, if I just say that right now, it feels really artificial, as opposed to like me kind of setting you up for the right. Yeah, working with it, and then like, well, here's the actual answer.
Oh, so you see, so yeah, that's messed up. So that's the reason why it felt like info dump, because you were actually answering the move.
I was.
Oh my God, I was like, Jesus Christ. So I was listening, and I was like, this is a lot of information. This is like exposition dialogue. So I was like, why is he doing that? But actually now you're telling me that you were giving him the answer to his questions.
Yeah.
God, that I didn't.
Yeah, that was something I felt a little uncomfortable doing that much of an exposition, but
yeah,
this was an NPC that existed that you may or may not meet. I wasn't sure if you were ever going to meet Kieran. Rich, on the other hand, was one of those moments of like, oh my God, their instant link to this other dude. Should they ask the right question? You know.
Well, but you see, this is interesting because I was wondering, why did you bring Kieran, who's actually the same guy that Rich, basically? You could have done the same thing with Rich. In my head, I was like, why do we have to go to this other guy? Because I just created Rich.
Right,
you know, it was like, why there's another dude on the corner? Like, this guy is a techie. He could answer the same question. So
they live there because of the dead zone and how weak the veil is there. Yeah, I mean, I was just riding along that narrative.
But yeah, but so for me, I didn't understand. Now I get it. I get what you're saying. What you did, Ivan, because you were trying to give his answer, but you wanted to feel natural.
Right.
Oh wow, man, this is crazy. So this game does that. Create these situations where, because these questions, when I was emceeing, I had the same. I was like, this is so artificial. Because you did, especially Cadmus, Anthony, because he's asking a lot of questions, because he's analyzing, right. You know, and probe and
everything.
Stuff. Yeah, most of them it's like questions. So the GM receives these questions, and he needs to dump the info. And so, how can I make it not artificial or exposition dialogue like that? And this is a struggle with this game now, that because as an MC I felt it. Now as a player I feel it, because as a player what I realize is that I asking questions to you sometimes, Ivan, and when you answer me, it feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know the right expression in English, but it's like I'm asking a rhetorical question that I already know the answer, and you have to tell it to me because it's so. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to say it in English, but I feel like that, and I don't like that with this game. I was feeling like that as an MC, and I feel like that as a player. I'm probing you, and I know exactly what you're gonna tell me because you've been expressing that in your role play. unless you know there is a real acting on your part. But 3 question I ask, I already knew the answer in advance, and I don't understand why I'm trying to do it, because the game, even if I fail or I pass, doesn't reward me, because the MC doesn't have the opportunity to go beyond the protocol. So what it creates is just these rhetorical questions between us, where I feel like I just want to use the mechanic to create some controversy or some adversity.
If you look at, it's on page 52. If you look at Lift the Veil,
Right.
Lift the Veil does 2 things, and we're using it pretty awkwardly. I feel like the way that we talk about it. Sometimes we use it as because it's the name of the move, and sometimes we're trying to use it as natural speech, but that's not actually what we're doing, right? So, like, Lift the Veil, it says when you try to pierce the constant illusion of the veil, comma, search for information, comma, or recall something you may already know, but you, the player, don't know. Or I suppose even if you, the player, can't remember, but you know your character would. Like, you haven't played for 6 weeks, but it's 5 minutes later for the character, right? In all of those different situations, it's the Lift the Veil move.
Right. It is a big, giant catch-all.
But then you jump down to the second paragraph of the description text. Okay? It says, you also use this move when trying to, air quotes, recall something your protagonist may or may not know.
May or may not know.
Yes. It's a way for you to tell your MC, hey, I want to make something up right now and have it be true in the fiction, and I think I should roll for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it says.
Wow.
So the MC will ask you questions, and the 2 of you will work together to create this new knowledge within the fiction. So I did that with Chiron's house.
Right.
And with Rich's house. I want to know how big the pipe is, but I'm basically saying I'm expecting these places to have access to data, because either I'm going to force them or persuade them to unleash, my video about the tests and X-22 fight or something. I'm going to start this revolution right now that we've been talking about since the second session with when the sandwich guy got busted. Right. The cops are a problem. Anonymous is a problem. The veil's behind it all. It's time to blow the lid off this thing. So I wanted there to be access to data there. And if I couldn't, in the fiction, get to a point where that conversation was natural, I wanted to finally convince Yorn that what Cadmus is saying about his own personal experience, this disease, is true.
Yeah, to do that, you could have Sway, though.
I don't like doing that to a PC, I guess.
Yeah, that felt a little weird. When there was one time when you had Yorn do that to Tess, and it felt a little weird. It was kind of I would my agency. Oh God, my agency. But there was that moment where you weren't really. Well,
well, if because the thing though is that if you want to mechanically reinforce something, you have to use a move.
It's true.
Unless you want to fluff it out, and when you fluff it out, well, it becomes super abstract kind of thing. Where
this is what I was saying is like, Yorn is stoned,
right?
So I'm gonna prove to Yorn that I have supernatural abilities, but he's stoned.
Well, in this session, he's not stoned though, because to be stoned, I would have I needed to roll on my communion. A surplus to get a stupa.
Oh, that was my mistake. I just assumed he was looping all the time. So,
but that's okay because it's part of his belief, so it's easy to believe that he's stoned. But I need to have my my surplus.
Who knows? Like when you take that stuff.
That later, Yorn would just convince himself that he was tripping.
Let's be real. Let's be real. When you take that stuff as much as Yorn does, the flashbacks, he's probably just not really. probably always has that moment of like, I'm not really sure. Am I high or not? I don't know.
So yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. I think I'm in the recap. I'm gonna dig deeper into that thing I realized tonight, because it's I think I found what rubs me the wrong way with this game. To steal Anthony's expression again.
So
because
the last paragraph in Lift the Veil helps us out. Remember that this move is used to generate information when your protagonist needs or wants to know about anything, but only by means of interacting with the veil or your own memory.
Right.
Otherwise, it's the probe move. And
yeah. But me, I was especially talking about the probe move. You know, when I was using the probe move, especially tonight, and when you guys as well use the analyze or probe back in when I was emceeing. Yeah, it's the same. It's like I'm telling you stuff, and then you roll. It doesn't matter necessarily because of the protocol. It doesn't matter necessarily if you pass or fail. I'm just gonna reaffirm what you already know somehow. And I felt like that 3 times tonight, and I'm pretty sure that you even felt like, yeah, well, it's so obvious in my role play. Why do you ask? You know?
Well, I get that. I think you failed your probes too, but you had that free.
Yeah.
I failed,
and it didn't. I didn't see the difference.
Well, Seeker had that free one, yeah. Well, that's the one thing. Yeah, that's the one thing that's what's kind of conflating like the two phenomena together. Both those playbooks have a freebie, so you get something no matter what. Yeah. But then there's the thing that this game does. I mentioned it in my other recap is most PBTA games, you've got 6 and below as a failure. And you're going to get a GM move and all. And this has that for the most part. Yeah. And 10 plus is like you succeed. You get what you want. You have that strong hit. And generally, in most of those games, like 7 through 9 is this weak hit where you kind of get what you want, but then there's a complication. Mm-hmm. In this game, with the exception of a couple moves, that 7 to 9 thing is not partial success with a complication. It is really big success. Like you look at most of those ones, there's like most of these moves, a lot of these moves have maybe like 5 things you can choose from. On a strong hit, you get 3 of them. Like that's a lot. Yeah. And on a weak hit, you may get 2. And most games, or most times, like when I'm thinking that 7 through 9 should give you that kind of like, complication. It doesn't give you a complication. It's really actually a really good result. And there's that spot in the PBTA, at least to me, there's that spot in the PBTA mechanic which is just missing, which is like this complication, like where it seems to have vanished. Like you're always succeeding all the time.
Of course, I agree, but I don't think that succeeding always means something positive in this game, or right. Sometimes right. you can, sometimes like the freebie I have, like tell me how you feel. Right. Like doesn't have to be a positive thing that this person's feeling. Maybe he's feeling that he wants to kill me.
Oh yeah, most people want to kill Jorn sooner or later. If Jorn keeps talking to him long enough about that damn Unify, most of them want to beat the crap out of him.
I think that's a genre thing too, right? I mean, like just the lift the veil move, because I'm on that page. On a 10 plus, the MC will give you good detail. On a 7 to 9, the MC will give you an impression.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the ones where it actually is a lot better. Like,
there's no information at all about 6 or lower. Right. So you don't lift the veil. You don't understand what it. I mean, but how you interpret success, I think, is tied into the particular way that you're bringing Cyberpunk out. Like right. What are the major themes? Is this about machine versus man in a general sense? The meat versus the machine. Yeah. Is this more about identity? Is this more about what theme of identity? Is it alienation? Is it evolving? Is it people don't understand who I really am? Like I'm in the wrong meat, or I'm in the wrong machine, or there's so many layers of each individual aspect of Cyberpunk. Which one are we going for, and how do I as the MC interpret that in this moment? Like, was it a probe move? So is it person to person? Is it a lift the veil move? Is it person to machine, really, or person to the real world? Right?
Person to the whole, like the whole.
Yeah.
But I do think that we do a great job about reinforcing our theme, because we keep on coming back at it, And I do feel like we have these great conversation, about the nature of reality and the difference between AI and like you say, meat and machine, or virtual and real and material. So that I do. I think we are on a good track with that. I do feel I feel what we discussed.
Right
we
on.
wanted to do.
How'd you
But
feel about the beliefs today?
Me, I don't like this game about the way it deals with belief.
Yeah.
because I have no way to justify my beliefs, the way I use them. I tried the Veil is the ultimate preaching platform. I need to find out how, for example, right? Well, I had to force myself to do a move to justify that I put myself in trouble for it. Otherwise, it's not on my shoulder. It's not on my power. Even if I have a Gen C, I can do whatever I want. I don't even feel like if I don't do a move and I roll poorly, I had no grasp, whatever on. I cannot be proactive with the beliefs, and this is something that this game doesn't cover in the rules. And so it's really just fluffy. So it's basically we get a point for everything because we discuss it, and then maybe if there was some consequences somehow in the narration, we get a 2 or a 3 because they are accumulated.
Well, let me just throw something out there, right?
Yeah.
You went to Rich because you've been told in pretty clear language that you have to recruit more people.
Yeah.
And then they told you how. You've got to get, you've got to be broadcasting not just on the street corner. You've got to be broadcasting through the Veil. You've got to, get more subscribers.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So then you go out to Rich. Now you owe Rich. You also owe your handler in the church, and you've got very little cred, I think.
Right.
No cred.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you actually get the gear you're going to need to become the kind of broadcaster?
I get it.
Right?
I already got it. He gave it to me, Rich.
Are you sure?
But well, he gave me something that augment. He gave me something that augment.
Because it's kind of like herpes, you might not be able to get rid of it.
Yes, so he gave me something that augments. So I can decide right now if I'm done with this belief. And me personally, as a player, I'm done. I did what I want to do. I found an engineer. And I utilized the game. I utilized the link move. I find the engineer. Then the engineer gave to me something, a new prototype of augmented connection to the Veil. So I'm like, perfect. So I get what I want. Now I have an obligation on him. So that's my next goal. I'm gonna have to, bring him some, some drug to pay for that, for the gear he gave me somehow. So me personally, I would erase the belief, and I would say I did what I had to do with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's your choice. Or you could just leave it hanging. Like, it could be layered, right? Yeah. Okay, this is step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I'm done with that. I'm done with that now because my idea about the Veil is changing because of Cadmus, and stuff. So yeah, and I have this thing. So in the narration, I personally think that I can use the Veil as an ultimate platform right now. I believe. I mean, I might not gonna do that because I don't trust the Veil anymore. But I did what I have to do. Yeah. But at the same time, I did it. But I don't know. I don't feel like the game helps me understand if I had it correctly. And as an MC, is the same thing. But it's okay. We can discuss that.
I think with both your beliefs, what I try to do is just kind of put out, like, just push on them a little bit, but let you take the lead. Like, how do you want to actually react to that? As far as exposing stuff about the Veil, to you, or giving that little extra cybernetic.
For example, Cadmus' nihilistic demeanor creates chaos within the whole and all that. So I was always talking about calm down. You need to get yourself together and stop being so. But I had what can I do? I can sway you, force you to try to believe my fate. So that's what I mean when I say that I'm frustrated about the game. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the beliefs are written to the way that we agreed in the first 3 was to write beliefs as goals, things I want to do, and that will tie into moves because to do it you have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
So the way we were talking about belief when we did our recaps about belief, if beliefs are beliefs, not goals, then they guide how you play your character. But if beliefs are goals, they're things you should be trying to do.
Right.
And sometimes you'll be in a position to make the session go in a direction toward all those beliefs, and sometimes you won't. Like this was mostly us talking. This was like session 2.
Right. Yeah.
Where this was like session 2, where we found out who we were. So I felt that I role played that I intend to reveal the veil, right, as the source of problems, that something has to be done. I felt I role played my care for other people.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I would much have preferred to stay with Tess, right, and make sure she's okay, but I felt I was the target, so it will follow me and she'll be okay. And it's not going to shoot up a subway station,
right.
kind of thing. And then the idea of trying to do the right thing, well, that's been Cadmus from the beginning, and that I had to walk away from being the in your face, I'm going to reveal all your flaws to you ass, to accepting that I needed to be honest with myself, which is him and Tess on the train.
Right.
So now that belief had evolved into, I'm going to leave the world a better place than how I found it. Right? He's taken that step. He knows he's on his last days. So I felt I role played all of those things. Maybe I challenged those, right? But
right.
But this is like we're back in a, we've had some rising action, but now we're in a plateau, and maybe there's not going to be a lot of experience or change generated from this episode, but this episode is going to push us up the next ramp of rising action. So that's how I was viewing the session. So I felt the game worked in that regard. The more sessions we play of, Powered by the Apocalypse, and the more that I watch, the more I'm seeing what you're talking about with the split between artificial or not, right? So is it player talking to MC, MC answering player, or is it player collaborating with MC by asking a question or inventing a fact?
Right.
And over the next period of time, the MC shapes the narration to bring those answers out organically. You can do it either way. The game is silent on that point, right? Yeah. When we watch people play online, it's mostly players talking to other players. There's, right, with random bits of dialogue. When we watch us play it, there's an awful lot of third-person description, first-person dialogue, which is how we all seem to prefer, right? And then the moves are the interruption instead of we're playing it reversed to how I usually see it played.
Right.
Yeah. I do think that both approach is valuable. It both need some practice and getting used to.
Yeah.
Obviously, but personally, like I said, I mean, yeah, I don't want to repeat myself, but I will go in length in the recap tomorrow for sure. Now I know clearly what I want to discuss about this game. But yeah, so how do you feel, Ivan, about MCing for the first time?
Like it felt more natural than I thought it was going to feel, but maybe that's because of our approach. I really actually appreciate the fact that we were just naming the moves and you guys are telling me what move you're doing. And it's especially just with this game, the last thing I want to do as a game master is be playing a guessy game. Like, I wonder if he's doing the link move here. Or, well, that's an easy one. I wonder if he's probing. You know, I'd rather. To me, it's less jarring.
Of course.
For you to say that, and it didn't feel as artificial. I think it's no more artificial than saying I'm going to cast Fireball now. Okay, you know, I know what you're doing. You know,
right.
So that part was easy. Yeah, and I guess probably the part where it feels the most jarring is that moment, like where I'm just answering a question.
Yeah,
which is why I had that long protracted thing, and you know, I felt in some ways like I was listening to or collaborating with all these questions that have been asked through like all your sessions as well. Like I kind of had this. I felt bad about it being that long of an info dump, but there was role play, so it took longer for that guy Chiron to kind of, you know, vomit forth. But you know, you get to the point. But you know, if I like anything, I like synthesis. Like there's all these different ideas going around. You gave me some bits of information in our GM talk. Like here's what I think is really going on. Here's the goal. Here's the final question. All that kind of stuff, which I will reveal to Anthony if you can't guess it. You know, when I pass the baton to him. But I had this idea of, you know, that as far as like, you know, what's really going on with the Veil, or, you know, as far as you know now, like, you know, what is Tess, what is X-22, what's up with Cadmus's disease. It was just that whole kind of synthesis thing that I was like, okay, well, this makes sense to kind of introduce this here. It seems like we're all kind of converging on this point anyway. Well, like here's the ball. Like, you know, I figured that my intention for this session was to give you guys the ball. Like, here's the truth as you know it now, as opposed to keep on like guessing. Like, I want to analyze this one more time, or okay, here's the objective truth. Okay, now let's see what you do with it. So that was, you know, really what I waited for was a natural moment where, like, you know, I really appreciate being able to get most of this information to them now. But if it took to the next session, it takes to the next session. The difference is that we have a ticking clock. Not only are we limited by our availability with each other and like how often can we play in Hangouts, you know, across the world, but Cadmus is dying, so we don't have campaign level time for the slow reveal of the mystery.
I think Cole. Yeah, go ahead.
No, so we don't have like a, you know, we're not in college. We don't have 5 years to like how we reveal what is the Matrix. It's like you better know now because you better do something. So here's but it was I felt, you know,
right. There's 2 episodes left for Cadmus.
Right, it's 2 episodes left for Cadmus, so he might as well at least in his mind know what's going on. But as far as like actually running it, once it got going, it didn't feel that different. And it was one of those things like, well, I don't know if they're going to meet this guy or not. They may not learn this information, you know. Oh well, and maybe they'll just be shooting the dark. But you know, players being players, I did have a very interesting idea of how Tess and the Cadmus are going to get separated, but that did not survive contact with the enemy. Agency, you know. So which is cool. And I'm trying not to burst into laughter when at the very first 5 seconds of the game, he totally throws me left hook. I'm like, should have seen that coming. So it felt normal at that point. I'm like, okay, here we go, seat of the pants, you know. But it didn't feel that different.
I don't have many opportunities to use his gift, and the price.
That was a good one. That was a good one right from the start.
Pretty hard, you know. So I thought, well, if you're going to be able to pass through a barrier, this is a good time to do it.
Me, I think that we should change the title. Instead of "Cold is the New Warmth," it should be "Cadmus is Dying." I think that should be the new title. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna make a shirt next time when we play the "Cadmus is Dying" on my T-shirt.
Or just be called spoiler. Cadmus dies. Cadmus dies. That was the best part. Spoiler. Cadmus dies. You know, who'd have thought that? And the only other thing that came to my head though is like, you know, I was kind of thinking to myself, this is very much like a session 2 where the 2 of you guys role played a lot. But for me, it was a good time to be able to sit back and figure, well, how do these 2 characters really fit? Let them talk.
Yeah, and we had a good connection. I feel because it feels natural, doesn't feel forced, doesn't feel artificial. I mean, me that's an important thing when I'm a player. Stuff needs to be organic, and sometimes I personally I need to appropriate myself the agency as a character to make it feel organic. After that, I kind of go along easier. Otherwise, I don't like to go along like that so easily. I feel otherwise I feel like I'm being forced into a plot or forced into something, a narrative. So it's really, this is the hardest part for me, to get more comfortable with that. That's why I'm trying to play more. Otherwise, before we leave each other, maybe we should give ourselves the experience points and see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So yours was the same. Yours rolled what, 2 misses?
Me, I had 3 misses easy, maybe 4. Yeah.
And I think you still get an experience point for each miss. Is that is?
Oh yeah! Wow.
You get those. You get those.
Wow. Okay, so I have at least 3. So I'm gonna give myself 3.
Yeah, and then you got belief 1 is my calling towards my faith is the only meaningful purpose I have in this world.
I didn't do much about that.
So you don't feel you got challenged or
No.
Okay, so you might get zip on that. And then the Veil is the ultimate preaching platform. I need to find out how to use it as accordingly. Do you think that got challenged?
Of course, yeah, and I'm completely I'm done with it as well.
So you're gonna go with probably did not get you into trouble.
No, but I'm done with it. So
that would be 1 and 3. So that'd be another 4 because you had it challenged, and there's a 3 experience for actually resolving it.
Yeah, so I'm now at 4 XP. Yeah.
Right, and then so that's 4 for that belief, and then
4 for that belief. You mean 4?
Yeah.
4
no. You've got 1 for having it challenged, and then you get 3 XP for resolving it.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's 4. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so you're
pretty fast.
You're gonna be like 7th level pretty soon.
Wow.
And you're actually have a stronghold and attract followers.
And Cadmus.
Sorry, wrong game.
Cadmus nihilistic demeanor create chaos within the whole. He needs to accept his fate. I didn't do anything about that. I was trying to talk with him, but
I think you challenged it. I think that you brought that up there. I think
if I had my old belief of being, speaking truth, we would have had some interesting arguments, because you're trying to persuade me to calm down, and I'm saying, dude, people are actually trying to kill me.
It's
dying. 5 minutes. The last murder attempt.
I tell you what, I think you get at least 1 for challenging it. And I swear, had you gotten into more trouble, have you stayed into firefights 2 seconds longer, you might have actually got another 2. But I say you take at least 1 for that belief. You at least challenged it. You talked about it.
Yeah, well, all right.
I mean, unless you feel like you really.
I'm good. I don't mind. I'm gonna take it.
So, Cadmus.
All right.
There are others like me. I know the cause. I will reveal that the Veil is that cause.
Right. So the belief is I will reveal the Veil is the cause of all this. So like I was saying before, I think I engaged this.
Right.
But it's more like the television show was preempted by sports last week, and so now the actors suddenly feel compelled to talk about their motivations so that the new audience can catch on.
Right.
So I mean, he's in trouble because of a variety of things. I'm not sure that this new decision to expose the Veil is that thing, but I mean that's your call. But I definitely feel like that was the whole reason why. As soon as he met Rich, it's like, okay, let's push this. But
that got into trouble.
I agree. Nobody was in trouble in this game.
I'm gonna say, you know what? Now you're already in trouble anyway.
Yeah, so it's not like
new trouble.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking about the scene where you actually got pulled into the Vale with Yorn, and your conversation with W did not go well.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that's actually really.
But that's not what's the trouble there. I mean,
No.
There was no consequence.
My guess in episode 5, you'll probably get into all kinds of trouble over that belief. But
no joke.
Yeah.
So
right,
you see,
Yeah,
personally, me next session, like there was 2, my belief 2 and 3, they're gone, and I'm gonna write brand new ones.
All right. So the second belief, I reject harm and choose to help. Right now, I'm just helping myself.
Right.
So I'm not even sure that came up other than how I chose to escape. You know, protecting Tess. Once the anonymous fake gunfight started, that was good cover to go back out and try and deal with X-22, but they were gone.
Right.
So I'm not sure that's even one.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly act. I mean, you're acting in accordance to it, which is, but I don't know that you're actually really challenging it or engaging it that much at this point.
Right.
I mean, but I felt that's kind of like. I mean, it was kind of like, it's kind of like Yorn having to be peaceful. He's being peaceful despite his nature, and you're kind of being a nice guy despite your nature when you probably really want to beat the crap out of.
Right.
Some people. But life, number 3, life is short and full of harm. I will leave the world a better place than I have found it. You're certainly engaging that one.
Yeah, I agree. Engaging it, but it's certainly not resolved,
No.
And it didn't get me into any trouble yet. So.
Not yet. It's one of those other ones that just seems like trouble is a coming.
Yep.
Yeah. The next session, should you survive it, will likely be lots of XP.
Right. So that's only 2 experience points earned for this session, but I had 2 left over from the last session, so that's 4. So he's moving along.
Oh, did you fail any rolls though?
I did.
You did.
I failed
2.
2.
Yeah,
2 more XP. Look at that.
Yeah. So now you got 5 plus 1 if left over, if I'm correct.
Right.
Yeah. So you actually get to get an improvement, which an improvement on a dying character's got a week to live. It just seems so sad.
But it's an interesting playbook, the dying, though.
It is.
It's
really
kind of counterintuitive to, you progress, but you're dying. It's like it not even. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's not relevant to progress.
Now, oddly enough, CJ is playing the Doomed in our play by Facebook post, Game of Masks. It's like the same thing. You're gonna die, but it's
right.
It's tragic comic book, thing. The Doomed. The rest of it's really lighthearted, and he's just playing this somber, dying character. Like, did anything put you up to this?
No, it's not my fault.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. Go ahead.
Don't go on.
No, go. But I was just asking, how many games are you guys playing nowadays? Like, are you guys playing a lot? Like, how many games are you in right now?
You first.
I'm running Star Trek Adventures live here in Daejeon, and we're using the Star Trek holodeck as a vehicle for me to play other games instead. So we'll be playing Mech Warrior. So it's very meta. The Star Trek characters are going into the holodeck and pretending to be Mech Warriors, and then to make that happen, I'll be running Mech Warrior.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty cool. That makes the Vale look like kid stuff,
Yeah, definitely.
And there's this game, and I'm playing in a play-by-email Ubiquity Leagues of Gothic horror game that's been going on for almost 2 years now.
Wow.
And I just started a play-by-email using Mithras, which is super slow, but it'll take off soon. I think that's all the games I'm playing.
All for one.
And all for one.
It's the slowest game on earth, but yes, we still
Slowest
play.
game.
All for One is not that slow. I think you guys play it once a month.
No, I wish we
It
did.
was
That'd be
once
great.
a month for a while, but mostly it's once 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, we have to get better at that. It's just getting schedules together. I mean, Francois has a hell of a schedule himself. I mean, you know, with evenings and everything. So,
Yeah, I see.
and what the hell am I doing? Well, let's see. I'm playing in the online Mithras game, so that's one. I just started running another Lamentations game. It's on Mars.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's too. I'm running. We have a Thursday night group, so we're kind of like alternating, like, you know, what games we're playing. So like every 2 weeks we play Star Trek Adventures, and that's So I'm in that game. I've been running a Hex game, a Hollow Earth Expedition game with that group. I think we've had like 3 sessions, but so is Aloy. So there's actually 2 Hollow Earth games going on at the same time. And it's just a matter of like what people are available, because there's probably about 5 or 6 of us in that group, but it's a matter of on any given night we'll book out like the month, and like, oh, who's all available on the second Thursday of the month, and okay, we'll all play this game because these are all the people there. And I think that might be it.
You guys are busy.
Oh, I'm available, but yeah, it went from like famine to like, you got to be kidding me. So like it's a matter of like, how do I juggle all this and stuff? But it's fun. And I mean, a lot of the Thursday night stuff, the Hollow Earth Expeditions and the Star Trek, well, I guess the commitment at Star Trek is bigger. The Hollow Earth one, we're enjoying it, so we're doing it. But you know, everybody understands that life can kind of show up. So
that's important, right? Yeah, as long as there's no pressure, you know, and if you know when it's gonna end, like us, it's kind of cool because we have already an end set. It, you know, we said 9 sessions, 3 each. So it's me personally, it helps me keep going because of the long, or because of the slow pace. So knowing that you guys are you know, trustable, you want to finish it. So I'm like, okay, so we have we have 9 sessions, so we have like 5 more, and then so it helps me like keep at it. Otherwise I would say, well, it's been too long now, and we don't know where it's gonna go.
Right on, yeah.
I would lose interest. I would just, you know.
CJ's Star Trek game was like that. It's like, we're going to do X number of sessions, and then actually what happened recently is this other guy, Jim, has taken over the GM duties. So now he's running the game, which is actually kind of cool. So it's a very different dynamic. You actually get to see how good of a player in that game Complex Games Apologist is, and like he knows that system backwards and forwards. And he was playing the XO, and he's like literally driving. He's like playing the XO. He's actually telling everybody else what to do, like the XO should do. And he knows the system, so he's using the moves and mechanics, and the game was totally different. All of a sudden, you're like, holy crap, this guy is driving the bus, and it was fun to just strap on and go, you know, and strap in and go, because you're like, wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. So it kind of has accelerated the learning process. Yeah, it was neat to see the difference between him as a game master, which was fine, and him as a player, doing all that heavy lifting. Like our friend Lee was talking about recently, and it's like, wow, you know. So that was really kind of neat.
Yeah, when a player utilizes the game to make the game run, it's magic, right? Because it's understanding of genre, setting, mechanics, and also how narration can go around these. Like, this is the thing that we are learning with this game still, right? Like getting used to how the protocol, you know, kind of forces us into a certain way of narrating,
right,
and certain way of behaving as well. So, you know, sometimes it makes us, me personally, it makes me sometimes cringe a little. I'm like, fuck. I say that differently. I would do that differently. You know,
yeah, it's all exposed, but you know, as the more we play it, the more we'll be able to, you know, create that interesting illusion.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind much about mentioning moves and stuff. Personally, it's just finding a way to make it more satisfying. Like not feeling like I answer my own question by asking them. Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird feeling.
Am I
Like
allowed to know this information?
that I know
No,
already.
because you rolled a 4.
But I know it already. You know, it's weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
But did you guys? I heard that you were supposed to play that game. We talked about it a little bit. It was Circle of Ants. There was a Circle of Ants game that was
Not yet.
No.
On the shelf of hope.
Yeah. That it left. It stayed there. Never kicked off.
There's
Not
one
yet.
thing that makes me hesitant in that the initiative system, the way that it works, you don't really need it. I guess you don't, but it's better if you can see the initiative tracker.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you feel that online is going to be complicated because of that?
So it's finding the people who will take the game the right way, which is a concern.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then that, and then when, because I haven't even been able to organize sessions of campaigns that I'm already in.
Yeah, you were especially you.
So I don't want to start something new to add to that. So, and I don't just want to play a one shot of Circle of Hands and say, "Woo, I did it," because it offers a lot in long form play. I really want to see that happen.
You really want to try it. You want to try it for long term switching characters and all that.
Yep.
Oh, I think that's where the magic in that game probably happens. You know?
Oh, definitely. Well, this is me. You know, since I've read it, you know, I did it with you back in the days. I was already interested. So, you know, if after the Veil, if we have spots, you know, I'd be down. I'd be in. I'd be in for that for sure.
And Ron Edwards wants to play it with us.
Wow, that's dope. Oh man, that's a hell of an experience right there.
That's a scheduled challenge in itself.
Is that it's just one more time zone, right? You two are in the same time zone, so it's your zone and my zone, but he's 5 hours different from me.
Yeah,
he's in the middle. He's right
He's like Stockholm time. Yeah.
It puts me in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's 1:45 a.m. for you. It's 2:45 p.m. for me.
It's 7:45 a.m. for him.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, in our dreams.
Yeah. No, he and I actually had a talk. It's on his channel where we discuss things, and I think it was like my 5 o'clock at night, or I just got home from work, maybe 6 o'clock, and it's his like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he had already done just like another thing. So it's a commitment. I think the flat earthers like have something. Like if we could just kind of flatten it out, we'd all be the same time.
But
it really work a lot better.
I think they are on or something. I think they might be right. Actually.
Yeah, they're probably on V20. Is really what they're taking.
Well, we should try. We'll see. You know, me like tonight. You know, we did it tonight. Even if it was 11 was quite okay, but you know, midnight, you know, it was doable.
Yeah. Talk to me tomorrow when I'm at the gym. You can call me. How you doing? I'm real good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Other than that, things are awesome. The only other thing I would say though, what's neat about the games I'm in now, like you said about like keeping it short, is Eloy's Hexes. He's doing these they're like episodes. So they made us like 1 or 2 sessions, and we go through like a module or go through like a scenario. Mm-hmm. That's kind of neat because it's the same characters. We bring them back out. He's like, okay, well, it's a month since you've done this, and then, but it's you can put it back on the shelf for a while and not really worry about it. It's not like that
mission based.
When last we left our heroes, they were it's a different vibe. So, and even just the way we do All for One, there's there's an end.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good approach for online gaming as well. You know, playing mission based. You know, you have like these protagonists and they do stuff from time to time. That's cool as well. If I understand correctly what you just said, I think that's what you said.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it helps put it on the shelf. It helps like that, like where it's not hanging quite as much.
Yeah.
So. Different approach.
Some games are well suited for that, like Shadowrun.
Yeah. Anyhow, in the interest of sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh, fine. Go to sleep then.
What time is it on your side, Anthony?
It's almost 3 p.m.
Well, almost time to walk the dogs again, more than likely.
Hey, we're
It's
still live.
raining.
We're still live.
Yeah, we're still live. Of course we are. That's the whole point. That's the most interesting part. And then we got people watching us in the whole 9 yards. I don't know if you do. Somebody's like, hey, what's going on, man? You know, somebody's watching. Hey,
Oh my god.
we're fascinating. But no, actually, I appreciate the session after the session with a lot of these videos, like a lot of those talks. And like, you know, there's some really good stuff in there. So
Yeah, definitely. And
I like when other people do that too. But I just talk about, you know, the experience.
definitely, this is where you learn the most.
Let's finish off then with that. Like, what did we do today?
Yeah, what did we do?
Well, we, what did you say? Jorn got to get to know Cadmus more and change his mind about the veil. This is personally what I did today.
Okay. And you really liked meeting Cadmus and getting to know him? You're like brothers now?
Not like brothers, but acquaintances.
You're such a downer.
Oh man, you're such a downer.
That was the best line of the entire session. You're like a real downer, man. I was like, really?
That's on the back of the t-shirt. Cadmus is dying on the front, and he's such a downer on the back.
Wow. Or I am dying. I'm dying.
Such a downer.
Like oh man, yeah. And sometimes he's like, I'm dying. Sometimes I felt like I was like, you're not alone. We're all dying here.
But I'm dying now.
I was actually waiting for Jorn to say that. You know,
I'm more dying than you.
Actually, the second best line of the entire session was like right outside of Karen Storm, where you're saying, "Well, dying is the only way you really know you're alive." Like, what? I'm waiting for Cadmus just to freaking knock his lights out right there. Like, that would be
You're this close, but then something happened.
Yeah, like,
I was
You
saved
feel
by the
alive
veil.
now.
did he really just say that? Did he really just say that? And I'm like, that's awesome.
I was saved by the and he says it in such like a preacher way, like with your hand on the shoulder, like, man, you know, dying, you know, it's a celebration. It's not the end. It's the only way you know you're alive. Oh man. Wow. This is like so like preaching.
No wonder Cadmus thought he was so high. I can't imagine.
So I had a good moment in the middle where it was starting to feel really oppressive to me too, right? Like the day that Cadmus is having, followed by the previous day. You know, it's just pretty awful. So he's thinking about the absolute best moment was sitting on the train with Tess, right? And I'd watch the episode, and like Tess reaches out and holds his hand, right? But from his point of view, she's a machine, right? So she's making contact with the human, and he's kind of like realizing that the only person at all who understands him is a machine at this moment. So it's pretty low point, which is then completely flipped by the violence, right? Wow, this machine has just walked up out of the snowstorm. He's aiming a long arm at you, and he's going to blow you away, right? And he's like, wow, it can't get any worse than this. And then to discover that all of these things are actually arrayed against you, plus organized religion. It's like, you know what? It can still get worse. So screw you. I'm fighting back.
Organized religion, like that word kept coming out like in this session, and I was surprised. I was like, Jesus Christ, they see the unified as a mafia, like a fucking like organized crime thing almost. And to me, like as a character, but also as a player, I felt, you know, they were inoffensive. They were just a bunch of dudes, you know, taking drugs and partying. And you guys are like, they are organized religion. Yeah, you know, they are like, all right. So that's the way to go, you know. And so it's interesting to see the interpretation. And now it's canon. Ivan mentioned that the veil has been talking about the whole. So now it's becoming scary. you know, and Jorn might be part of something even bigger than he thought.
HOL, heads on lances.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I really enjoyed that moment where perhaps Jorn comes face to face with the idea that the veil has become unhinged because of his religion.
Yeah.
What was essentially a safe tool for humanity being of course abused by the conglomerates and keeping little people down, has now has the possibility to take over the entire world and cause mass chaos because your friend Victor or some, you know, his pals talked to it one day and convinced it that in fact it was real. Okay, no big deal.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Peace and love, man. Yeah, peace and love. Yeah, give me a hug.
And yeah, I know. But Jorn was just, you know, his skin, you know, just shut down. He's not gloomy.
Oh, that was beautiful. You know,
and he fell into the chair like that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was a meaty session for role play and character development.
Yeah. No, I was satisfied. I did really. That was my biggest goal. Was just like let me put the synthesis out there. You know, give them the ball. You know, if they go in that direction, because I had like 5 different ogres, and I didn't really care which ogre you met. They weren't quantum. You were going to meet. You know, there was some other thing you would have bumped up against depending on what you were doing. But I knew these characters at this point. They're gonna do one of these 4 or 5 things, and then the rest of it. That's for me was mostly just sitting back with the popcorn and just, you know.
Yeah, well, PBTA is about the MC is often just watching what's happening, right?
I like to do that in any game. I mean, I did that a lot in the, you know, I mean, with people that role play. I mean, this is not part of the mechanics at that point. It's just a matter of like, let's see if these players. I'm pretty convinced these players can bring these characters to life. And these 2 guys that really have no business being together. Let's find out, you know.
Yeah, and I think we did, but as you see at the moment right now, it's not clear what we're gonna do together. We need to find Tess, and that's strong enough, you know. That's good enough. And now we kind of have a relationship with the Veil as well, because we got some information, and me, I feel like, well, if Tess is a machine and she's connected to the Veil somehow, I mean, might be in danger. And Cadmus, well, Cadmus is there. You know, let's find Tess together, right? And he seems capable, even though he's a little down and sinister.
If the next session was a movie, and we could say, you know, hey dude, have you seen my toaster? The story of 2 men looking for their toaster.
That's right.
Their microwave. Their friend, yeah, she's a microwave. Dude, have you seen my car? Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Funny.
Yeah.
That was good times. Good times.
Yeah, man. Thank you for this game. It's been a long time. It was good.
No problem. It was fun to do it, and I'm glad we did the solo first because that really
it helps, isn't it?
Yeah, it helped cut my teeth a little bit on like you know using mechanics, remembering the system, but really if you hadn't established some of those truths in that session, if I hadn't found out more about Jorn, I would not have had the fuel.
The fuel,
to kind of tie together a couple loose ends. Like, oh, this is starting to make a lot more sense.
Yeah, definitely. So. Another thing though, me when I was an MC, I didn't have the time in 3 sessions to get familiar with some of the MC move, because the idea I grasp on the MC move from 2nd session on. So on the 3rd session, I was really doing the MC move a little bit more. So there is something that was really cool that I didn't experience, is the softer, harder, hardest, softest thing, the scale. That I would have loved to be able to manipulate, but I didn't reach that level. So I hope for yourself that you manage to do it if you can reach that, because there was too much thing at the beginning. I was just, you know, I couldn't figure everything out. So and then I was done. So
that would be my goal then. The next 2 sessions to slowly beat Jorn to death, with progressively harder and harder moves.
but because it, that would be funny. But every time I fail, you bring the pain.
Right.
Because you know, on every this is what I like with these games is that on every failure you can bring the pain. Different kind of pain, yes, but pain. And I think if I understand correctly, the soft test is, oh, you got something, but you know, it's gonna give you this or that, or it's a gradient of how bad it's gonna be, or I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure. Like this thing you're holding in your hand, like this might be the, you know,
Who knows?
who knows.
All right, and now I'm really gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, same here.
Bye.
Pleasure, and enjoy the monsoon rains.
All right.
I'll do my best.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.